All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order for the April 15th regular City Council meeting. Madam Clerk, roll call, please. Okay, terrific. So everyone's here except for Councilman Wigan. Now is the time for invocation by Dave Main, Pastor Emeritus, Calvary Chapel of Costa Mesa.
All right. Father, we come before you together and ask for your blessing upon our city of Newport Beach, our council meeting this evening, and the business matters and decisions that are before us. Bless our mayor, each council member that's present, all our city officials and department staff. We lift up the police department, chief of police, the entire police force and operational staff, the fire department, our chief fire marshal, entire fire response and operations staff. Lord, we lift up the Newport Beach City Utilities, our city public works, and all the businesses and residents that reside here in Newport Beach. Lord Jesus, we thank you for your continued presence, guidance, and protection and love towards us and our city. We pray also for our neighboring cities and the United States, that you would extend blessing upon all. We ask this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Birthday girl, Mayor Pro Tem Kleiman, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please join me for a pledge to our great nation. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah. Okay, so now's the time for presentations. The first presentation, I think everyone's here for you, Bill. A presentation on the history of Lido Island and other islands. So Bill Abdel, for a lot of you who don't know, as your mayor, my theme for 2025 is all about Celebrate Newport, and it's all about the history of the city. So for all 22 council meetings, we're going to spend a few moments before every meeting, and we're going to talk about a piece of history in the city of Newport Beach. So Bill Abdel is a local historian, founded the Newport Beach in the Rearview Mirror podcast. He does popular videos and posts. He's famous. He talks about a lot of the events and the people that are famous and forgotten that have helped shape Newport Beach. His videos have generated over 2.5 million views, and we're very excited to have him back. He's a decade-long editor at the Daily Pilot. So Bill, why don't you walk us through a brief history of how we got Toledo where we are today? And thank you for being here.
You stole my joke, I was going to say. I'm pleasantly surprised how many people want to hear about the islands. Before we get to Lido Island, we talked about the other islands. We have a cheat sheet here, sorry. Bay Island was the first island that was developed in 1902. It was a duck hunting club to begin with. Then there's Newport Island in 1906. Then there was Harbor Island in 1927, I think. That was developed by Joe Beek, the ferry godfather and father of Balboa Island. And then there was Linda Isle, came into the city in 1954. It was named after Irvine Company president's daughter, and the Irvine Company developed it, so that is how you get an island named after you. Lido Island, the island no one wanted. Before we get into this, if you could look at that photo up there, there's a few houses there. This is when the island opened. There's a few houses there. You can see there was not a bridge there. There was a causeway to get to Lido Isle. So keep that in mind as we go through here. No one wanted this island. Why? Because it wasn't anything. It was a mud flat. You could see a little circle there. This is in 1875, I believe. And it just got part of land. When people bought the parts of the peninsula, it just got handed down from owner to owner, but it was basically a worthless piece of property. McFadden Brothers owned it, then W.S. Collins, who developed Balboa Island, owned it, and then Henry Huntington, who ran the Pacific Electric red car trolleys, got it as well. And that's why the island was first called, the island was first called Electric Island, then it was Huntington Island, then it was Parkinson's Island. And it was Parkinson's Island because he bought it in 1923. They wanted to make it the hub of a commercial harbor. So wharfs, factories, warehouses, railroad spurs, that was the plan for Lido Isle.
The entire island for $750,000.
Yeah, in today's money.
Today's money, yes.
Today's money. So Parkinson spent 2 years developing the island. He built it up 11 feet above sea level, did a much better job than Balboa Island developer did. And but he died unexpectedly, and his widow could care less. She lived up in Glendale. They were very, very rich. He was a railroad conductor, and he like Judd Clamp, but he accidentally discovered oil in Bakersfield and became a multimillionaire. But she did not care about this. A few years later, it was sold to a guy named Walter Crichton, and he was watching Balboa Island, Bay Island, Newport Island being developed. He said, forget this commercial harbor stuff. Let's build an island. And let's build a residential community, sorry. So luckily, he hired this really good Swiss-born architect named Franz Herding to design a world-class island community, and he took his inspiration, the architect, from Lido de Venezia, which is right outside of Venice. It was one of California's first planned communities. It had wide streets, architectural standards, walkways, open space, and at the time, which is very unusual, underground utilities. To develop it, they didn't have enough workers, so they flew daily 300 workers in from LA by seaplane. This is opening day. I wanted you to focus on that causeway going into the island because they didn't have a bridge on opening day. So you could see all these hundreds and hundreds of people had to take a boat across there, and they realized real quickly they needed some sort of way to get on the island through an automobile, and that was a causeway. A year later, they built the bridge. These are some photos from opening day. You got the speedboats in the harbor, the good old days. This is the original clubhouse that was after the Lido in Italy, pattern after that. Smartly dressed people. One of my favorite history photos. They could not be more dapper, these two. That looks like fun. And here's an early advertisement for Lido Isle. The artwork on these ads are insanely beautiful, and it shows how much time and effort and money they put into promoting this island. You can see they had a high dive there, looked like fun. And I think this is on Newport Boulevard on the way to Lido Isle. And
$1,200 for a lot.
Right. Well, you can get a lot less because no one wanted to buy there. I mean, no one. So it went through a series of owners, and the last owner was the Griffith Company, and they just wanted out. And so they slashed prices like 90%. They had specials, buy one on the water, get an inland lot free, all kinds of things. And this went on for years because they could not. It was remote. It was hard to get to. People couldn't. It was for summer homes. No one could see the vision really. So they had a super, super hard time selling it. They even included, if you bought a home lot, Franz Herding, the famous architect, would design your house for you for free. Still, no one bit. It's sort of a last-ditch effort. The Griffith Company built the Lido Theater in 1939 to draw people more to the area and make it seem more permanent. And that didn't work very well either, but we got a nice theater out of it. Mayor will talk about that in a second. And then finally, and you can see how little this development, this is probably like 1935, they just couldn't sell very much there. And this guy with the awesome name of Pappy Palmer said he can sell this within 5 years. And it took him 2 decades, but he sold it out. And that's the beginnings of Lido Isle.
That was it.
Yeah.
Okay, terrific. Well done. Well, thank you, Bill. You are a legend, and it'd be important to say that when they built Lido Theater in 1939, the price tag of $110,000, the Fritz Duda Company just finished millions of dollars in a renovation. If you've not been over there, I highly recommend you. Taking all the wood off, all the Art Deco styles back, so Lido Theater's back, alive and well. So thank you, Bill, for the history lesson. I appreciate it. Okay, just so you guys are aware, the community room is open, and there are chairs in there and tables and a monitor, and you could hear everything. So if you want to stay here, I appreciate that. But if you do want to go across the way, you can. That is available. So next is a proclamation recognizing working wardrobes. I'll read the proclamation. Is Bonnie here? Okay, Bonnie, here you are. CEO of Working Wardrobes can come forward to show some slides, and then we'll take a photo and go from there. So I'll start with reading the proclamation. So whereas Working Wardrobes has been transforming lives and empowering individuals in our community for 35 years by providing vital support in career development, personal growth, and self-sufficiency. And whereas Working Wardrobes offers comprehensive services, including career assessments, professional wardrobe styling, soft skills training, interview preparation, and job search and placement assistance, helping thousands achieve their career goals and build brighter futures. Working Wardrobes embodies excellent innovation, community service, making a lasting difference and setting the standard for nonprofit organizations. I, Joe Stapleton, the mayor of Newport Beach, on behalf of the entire Newport Beach City Council, do hereby recognize and commend Working Wardrobes for 35 years of empowering individuals and strengthening our community, and I'm honored to present this proclamation in celebration for your remarkable achievements and enduring impact. Congratulations.
We all want to know, is the picture now or later?
Yeah, pictures after your presentation, yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm also joined by fellow board member Steve Fusswinkle, and he'll also ask to address you during the public comments or after my presentation. Working at Wardrobes is here to help people overcome barriers so that they can achieve gainful employment. And as you mentioned, we've been at it since 1990. While we began by serving women who had experienced domestic violence, over the years and decades that followed, we have now served 130,000 people on their employment journeys, including veterans, people impacted by justice system involvement, working age youth, etc. The barriers they face are vast and usually come in concerts. It's a constellation of mental health challenges, housing insecurity, food insecurity, re-entering or entering the workforce after age 55, managing this transition from military service into civilian work. For each person on this journey, the journey is exacerbated by the high cost of living here in Southern California. It would take a minimum age earner 113 hours per week to survive, not thrive. We approach this in a very individualized and dignified manner. We realize that no two people are the same, which means that no two employment journeys are the same. We start with where you're at. What assets do you have to promote? And we then identify the coordinates of your destination. Sometimes that requires coaching or assessments to figure out what are you going to be when you grow up? And then we chart this course individually between those 2 points to include promoting those assets in a resume, answering large gaps in employment in a mock interview, adding certifications, soft skill development, apprenticeships, work experience. And then, of course, our signature touch, which is in our name, you have a styling appointment so that you can interview looking and feeling your absolute best. We then help our clients with job placements, job retention, and then even asking for or seeking promotions and salary advancement. We say in the vernacular, teach them how to fish. And this is what we're doing every day at Working Wardrobes. We provide all of this at no fee to the over 5,000 people we reach every year. And we do that with 3 revenue streams. One is through government contracts. We're like a vendor. We act on behalf of our community. County, city, state hire us to do this work. We also receive individual and corporate donations, grants, sponsorships. And thirdly, our social enterprise helps fund this mission, and that is our stores that you can shop at called The Hanger. I'm sure by now you're all wondering, how can I help? I heard you. How can I help? Let me answer. You can conduct a drive. It doesn't have to just be clothing and accessories. Toiletry drives, gift card drives, you name it. Gas cards can be the last thing, the last barrier between a person and the job interview. Another way you can help is volunteering in individuals or as a group. Many corporations will sponsor social responsibility days as an awesome opportunity to build your team and create an impact with Working Wardrobes. Another way you can help is by participating in our events. On Tuesday, May 20th, we'll be aboard Camp Pendleton preparing military spouses for the transition for their next installment of life, which will include employment. You can also join us for this 35th year celebration on Saturday, September 20th. You are all invited to our annual gala honoring the history, but also the future that we are creating together. Finally, each and every single one of us has interests and access that can help our clients literally experience and explore the careers they may be interested in. Whether you're at the entry level or the top position, everything in between, I invite you to sign up and join our relational database so that our clients can find you and find out from you what's it like to do the thing that you do. Or maybe what you have to offer is a tour, or you have an interest that could be monetized as an entrepreneur, or maybe it's something more robust like a mentorship or an internship or project. On any level, you can guide real-world career exploration by simply making yourself digitally available to our clients. All of the things that I mentioned have QR codes that you can go to, or you can go directly to our website to find out more about how you can create this incredible impact, which is helping people help themselves through gainful employment.
Thank you, Bonnie. Do you want to add one? You want to add anything? You want to wait until everyone here speaks? I think you might want to.
Say yes, Steve. Say yes.
You might want to go now.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, City Council, Mayor, community members. My name is Steve Fusswinkle. I'm a Newport Beach resident for about 5 years, lived in Orange County for about 10, and of late incredibly humbled to serve on the board of directors of Working Wardrobes, and just want to share a little bit of my why. So I started my career in the military. I started in the Navy, fortunate to serve our country, but as I transitioned about 10 years ago, I had a really difficult transition. I think as many service members do, but fortunately, I feel like I got lucky. I got lucky in that I was connected with the right people that were willing to lend a hand, but I was kind of getting handouts in pockets or getting help in pockets. And so what I love about Working Wardrobes is they take the luck out of it. They ensure that through the focused support that they provide, luck is not needed because of how they're lending a hand in a very focused manner to everybody. It's not just veterans. That's what I'm kind of partial to because of how I grew up. But it's anybody in the community, anybody here, anybody that we know. And so my ask to you is, Bonnie on one of the slides showed the average cost to serve a client is about $10,000. So my ask to you is, can we together sponsor one of those clients? And so fortunately also another thing that'll maybe make this a little easier, maybe we can even over deliver, Don Harper, prior council member of Costa Mesa, has agreed to match any contribution from Newport Beach City Council. So if we can get to 5,000 tonight, we can get to 10,000 and support and sponsor that client. And I think as I think about what that impact could be on the individual, an even greater impact on their family, and an even greater impact on all of our communities. So please, I ask you to consider that, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Bonnie and Steve. We'll do a photo over here. Congratulations. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go to public comments on agenda and non-agenda items, including closed session matters. So just prior to public comments, it looks like there's quite a big audience here tonight. So what I'd like to do is get a show of hands from the members of the public that are here to speak on agenda item. This is item number 7, so matters of which council members have asked to be placed on a future agenda, and also closed session. Raise your hands. Okay, cool. So if you're here to speak on item 9 or 11, consent calendar, public hearing, or any current business, now is not the time to provide public comments on that, and we'll get to that later in the matter which is called. So this is the only time to provide public comments on item 7, matters of which council members have asked to be placed on future agenda, and closed session as well. So since we have a lot of you that are going to speak on this, I'm going to take mayor's prerogative and go to 2 minutes on public comments if you wish to speak. We have a heavy agenda tonight, so in order to get through this agenda, I'm going to limit comments to 2 minutes. So reminder, if you're here to speak on item 7, the council will not be taking any action tonight, nor engaging in any discussion on this. Tonight, the action is to decide whether to bring this item back to a future meeting. Additionally, we have read all your emails that you've submitted. Thank you for that. And we can go ahead and begin. So if you're thinking of speaking, why don't we start a row here? We got 2 microphones, so why don't you guys start lining up here, and then we can put someone on each microphone. And
No, you can't tell me. I don't have an agenda. What is the title of this?
okay, it's all the A1 items. So the A1 items tonight are the ENC, pesticides, and also the historian laureate.
Not the farmer's market.
This is not the time to speak on farmers market. Is that crystal clear? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor Stapleton and
Of
members
course.
of the council. First of all, let me ask you, I am not speaking on any agenda item. Am I at the right time?
Yeah,
I'm just giving, okay.
of course, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, give you one of those. My name is Nancy Skinner. I'm here to invite you, the whole staff, anybody that's from Newport Beach that would like to come to SPAWN's annual meeting, which is on Saturday, the 26th of April at the Oasis at 9:30 in the morning. For anybody that wants to come for the continental breakfast first, and the program will start right on time at 10 o'clock. It's being co-chaired by our own Nancy Gardner and Kurt Black. And the topic is something I think it eventually will be really important for this community, sea level rise. And we have a panel that will be discussing what the city has done, what we're thinking about for the future. So it's at the Oasis Senior Center, and everybody is welcome to come. And if you are coming for the breakfast, the continental breakfast, it would be appreciated if you would respond so we can have enough food for you. And at 10 o'clock, we will have that meeting. And so SPAWN, in case you're not familiar with it, was an organization that was formed in the early 1970s and has been going since that time with the mission of still protecting and what did I say? Protecting and preserving the environmental and residential qualities of Newport Beach, and we've done a pretty good job on that. So go to our website. It's another way you can sign up. Everybody's welcome in the audience tonight, and everybody here as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi.
Please, no applause, please. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Hi, good afternoon, Mayor and City Council members, and happy birthday, Councilmember Kleiman. My name is Katie Smith. I am here for ENC, and I started the petition. You guys have all heard redundantly over 500, I don't know how many emails. We're now at 1,000 petition signatures today. How much this matters to our community. If a high-density development were to occur at this location, it's really obvious when you are at the site, at the nature center, what that would feel like to be there. It would block the sunlight, it would block the sky, and it would really impede and overshadow this beautiful nature center. It would also set a precedent that even child-centered, nature-based institutions aren't protected when development comes knocking. There are more than 1,600 families on the ENC waitlist. This has become such a treasured part of this community. A lot of people in this room signed their kid up on the day that their child was born on the waitlist just because of how much we value this cherished place. We're not opposed to housing, and I know that we've heard from you guys that the city's hands are tied, but we are also asking for you guys to push for us with the state. Keeping this parcel in the housing element could do irreversible harm to a space that cannot thrive under the shadow of dense development. Please agendize this item for a future meeting and work with staff to bring this refinement. It is a refinement towards the state. You guys have already done a wonderful job of putting a buffer on the housing element. Because of that, you have plenty of capacity to meet your RHNA goals. And this buffer was included for moments just like this when new impacts emerge and adjustments are necessary. And the people in this room, the people out of this room are showing you that this is necessary. Let's protect what truly matters, our environment, our children, and the rare places where both can thrive. Not all land is created equal. Some places serve a higher purpose.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, Council. My name's Deanna Reposa. Thank you for taking comments on this. I'm a proud resident of Newport Beach, and I'm here to express my support of removing 1501 East 16th Street from the housing element. Both of my children, now 19 and 28, grew up attending ENC summer camps and participating in its year-round programs. Those experiences didn't just fill their days, they shaped who they are. The ENC instilled in them a deep love of nature, environmental awareness, and a sense of responsibility for the world around them. It's not an exaggeration to say that the ENC has had a lasting impact on their lives. My eldest is now continuing that dedication to nature through his work in sustainability, and my youngest is in college studying environmental analysis, concentrating on native plants, fire remediation, and will be working this summer as a horticulture intern at ENC. The ENC is also so much more than just open space. It's an educational hub, a sanctuary for native plants and animals, a place where people of all ages find connection to the land, to learning, and to one another. Especially in a world where children are spending more time indoors and on screens, the ENC is a natural gym that offers an irreplaceable opportunity to experience nature firsthand. I encourage you to please take it off the housing.
All right, thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi. Good day, Mayor, City Council members, and city staff. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Kristen Manna, and I'm here with Christina Shea, former mayor of Irvine.
Nice to see you.
And we're here to represent Arts and Learning Conservatory, and our organization is committed to making high-quality music education and performing arts education to our students in K through 12, mostly elementary. We are currently serving schools throughout Orange County and are proud to be in over 16 schools in our Newport Mesa Unified School District. We were founded by Vanguard alum Deborah Wonderchuk, longtime Orange County resident. ALC was created to fill a gap as art programs had been cut from our schools. Music and theater education have proven benefits. You probably all know them. They improve academic performance, support mental health, and build critical life skills such as communication, collaboration, and confidence. We'd love to give you a chance to experience this impact firsthand, so we're excited to invite you to one of our upcoming VIP tours. We have two. We have one in April 23rd, Wednesday, April 23rd at 4:30, and one on Thursday, May 22nd. And I've sent emails, but I just wanted to come in and make an announcement about this. You'll meet our team, see our students in action, and learn more about how we're making a difference through the arts. We thank you so much again for your time and efforts, and thank you for making music education important in our schools.
Mention our bags, too.
Oh, and we do have bags that we put together that we handed with the city clerk, and we'd love for you to look over those. And our contact information is in our pamphlet about our program.
Let me just say one thing.
Yes.
And if I may, I want to compliment you that you're setting up on a different topic. A pesticide committee in 2016, I apologize, I created the non-toxic pesticide program in the city of Irvine. It's been supported by 90% of our community. Good job.
Terrific. Well, thank you both. I appreciate you being here. Of course. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Council. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. My name is Parker Raposa. I am a Newport Beach resident and a former ENC camper. Lori was one of my guides, so super happy to be here. I'm here to express my strong support of removing 1501 East 16th from the housing element. If this project moves forward, it will permanently alter the peaceful, immersive environment that ENC has worked so hard to create. The ENC is a huge part of the Newport Beach community for over 50 years. It's woven into the history of the city. It's a rare and cherished place where nature, education, and community come together. And this is the kind of place that we need to protect, not overshadow. Years ago, I spent my summers at the ENC. As I mentioned, those experiences radically shaped my path more than I could have realized at the time, sparking a lifelong passion for the environment and a deep appreciation for local ecosystems. Today, I work as a sustainability consultant, advising some of the world's largest companies in the world on environmental action, biodiversity protection, and climate strategy. The seeds of my career were literally planted at the ENC. Newport Beach has a choice to make. You either prioritize short-term development or preserve long-term resources that have already touched thousands of lives. Honestly, rather than threatening ENC's surroundings, we should be exploring ways for the ENC to expand its footprint and impact. If anything, that land should be made available to further support the center's mission, not diminish it. I urge you again to please remove 1501 from the housing element. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No applause. No applause. Let's not applause, please. Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Meredith McMahon, and I'm here as a mother, an environmental advocate, and someone who cares deeply about the Environmental Nature Center and its preschool. My son was part of the inaugural class at the ENC. We live in Laguna Beach, and I drove up and down PCH 4 times a day so he could attend. That may sound intense, but for our family, it was an easy choice. The ENC offered a one-of-a-kind outdoor learning environment where children are not just learning about nature, they're living it. Every day, my son came home muddy, inspired, and full of questions about the world around him. His earliest experiences there helped shape his sense of empathy, curiosity, and environmental responsibility, values we need now more than ever. I want to be clear. I am not opposed to new housing. I understand the need to address the state's housing mandates and support more inclusive communities. But the inclusion of 1501 in the housing element, directly bordering both the ENC and the preschool, is deeply concerning. This site is slated for high-density development, which would forever alter the character and ecology of this vital space. A multi-story structure at this location would block critical sunlight to the outdoor learning areas, disrupt the surrounding habitat, and negatively impact the serenity that makes the ENC such a magical place for everyone. There are other places where housing makes sense. This is not one of them. I urge you to please remove 501 16th Street from the housing element. Preserve this sanctuary of learning and stewardship, not just for the families who rely on it today, but for generations who will depend on it tomorrow. Thank you for your time and for your commitment to thoughtfully planning to protect what makes Newport Beach truly special, and that's coming from someone who doesn't live here. So thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, council members. My name is Bo Glover. I live in Costa Mesa, although my home has been at 1601 East 16th Street for 34 years. I'm the president and CEO of the Environmental Nature Center, or what everyone in our community knows us as, the ENC. When I first arrived at the ENC, we were part of the school district's programming in a single wide trailer with a single employee. We've had a lot of growth over the years. We've expanded our footprint. We've built nationally recognized, sustainably designed buildings and received multitude of awards for our sustainable practices. We serve over 26,000 children a year and have served over 750,000 students since our inception. And our programs are served as a model for others. We operate a nationally recognized nature preschool. We are thriving in our mission to provide transformative experiences through connection with nature. Do you know why the ENC has grown? It is because it is an extremely special place with extremely special stakeholders, and each of you are included in that. It is a jewel of Newport Beach. We are now under threat. We have been made aware of the state-mandated housing element and the city's sophisticated response. However, that response did not take into account the impact of potential housing development directly adjacent to one of its jewels. The parcel directly adjoining the ENC and ENC Nature Preschool was made part of the housing overlay. We've been made aware of the possibilities. Developers have made offers. Meetings have been held, 30-plus three-story homes with rooftop decks looking down upon our children, your children, potentially destroying what we have worked so hard over the past 53 years to create. I have more time. Thank you.
Only you, though.
An oasis built to inspire. A sanctuary for our citizens from life's pressures. An educational example for the world, and that is not hyperbole. Noise, traffic, environmental impacts, habitat loss, our concerns are many, but none are more important than the safety and security of our children, entrusted to our care, and preserving the sanctity of our site. I've been asked by several of you, what is your best alternative for the site? And that is for the ENC to buy it.
Folks, we have a long
There is
agenda.
no better use of that site for the city of Newport Beach than to expand the ENC. All we need is a willing seller and approximately $30 million.
No big.
We live in the right town.
Yeah.
Just because the implications of the housing overlay were not properly examined when it was instituted does not mean it is okay to let that oversight perpetuate. We have been told there is nothing that can be done. Our hands are tied. I do not believe that. And neither should you. We are asking our city to please, please protect the ENC. Thank you.
Thank you, Bo. All right. Only because it's Bo, but not. We got to maintain public civility here. This is a public meeting, please. But since it's Bo, no more. 2 minutes. Next speaker, please. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Lori Whalen, and I'm the vice president of the Environmental Nature Center. I've worked at the ENC for 22 years, and honestly, it feels more like home to me than the house I live in. Last year, when trees were cut down along our border, trees we had nurtured for decades on land we believed was ours to care for, it felt like losing old friends. It was an immediate and painful loss of habitat for birds, insects, and countless other species, and now we face the possibility of three-story buildings rising just beyond our fence line, looming large in our view shed and potentially casting shadows on the trees and places we've spent decades nurturing. As the head of our horticulture department, I want to be very clear. Nature is our business. Even the proximity of a large structure to our sanctuary will impact the natural systems that make our work, providing environmental education for this community, possible. Shadows will reduce sunlight, lower soil temperatures, and alter humidity, affecting native plant growth and, in turn, the food and shelter available to wildlife. This shift in microclimate can disrupt natural behaviors like foraging, causing some species to disappear and reduce biodiversity. But enough of the science lesson. My greatest concern remains the children. Every day, I see preschoolers and students from all over the county learning on our trails and in our outdoor classrooms. Right now, they can look up and see open sky. They can imagine. They can forget they're in the middle of a city. A multi-story building would take that away. There is research showing that environmental education is less effective when students are within view of the built environment. Let me repeat that, because it's important. Environmental education is less effective when students are within view of the built environment. If this development moves forward, it will fundamentally reduce the effectiveness of what we do. We are not opposed to housing. We support thoughtful solutions, but this site is not appropriate. There is no place like the ENC in the city, a nature center and preschool of this kind, one that has served the community for over 5 decades, is not something that can be relocated or replicated. Just because the site was added to the housing element without fully understanding the impact doesn't mean we should leave it there.
Okay,
thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, I'm Don Abrams, Mayor Stapleton, members of the council. I wonder, can I ask you a question? Have you all been to the Environmental Nature Center? You don't have to answer, but think about it. I recently took a young associate who worked for me who'd never been there. While I was there, I walked into a low-hanging branch and cut my ear. But nevertheless, it was good to be back there. I love this place, and I hope you will go there and love it too. We've been taking our son Ben, who's now 17 there, since he was a baby, and it's engendered in him a love of nature. There's a stream there. We used to sail little acorn boats down the stream. We walked to all the different environments. We saw the jumpy squirrels, all the different birds. I mean, there's not, and this is an oasis in the middle of Newport Beach. There's nothing like this. I happen to be I'm a real estate broker, so I'm in housing. I love houses, but this is not the place to add houses. Maybe there's some other place in Newport Beach that would be better, but this is a place for nature, for everyone to enjoy. My son Ben, when he got older, went to the camp there. Then he became a camp counselor there. He personally tended the meadow area. He and I planted plantings for the new preschool. So we've been deeply involved, and I'd like to be able to continue that. I recently, when I went there, I noticed the trees that have been chopped down on the neighboring property, which is already letting light in where we don't need more light. This is a shaded environment. And I urge you to take this off the housing element and keep this oasis. And please go there. If you'd like me to give you a guided tour of my son, I'd be happy to take you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker. No applause.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council members, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm Jacqueline Franchetti. I am a resident of Newport Beach, a mother, and a Newport Beach business owner and a voter. Look, you all didn't run for office because this job was easy. You ran because you care about Newport Beach. And I truly believe that each one of you wants to preserve what makes Newport Beach special. And the ENC makes Newport Beach special. And that's why I'm here to ask for each of you to rise to that purpose and to promise that you will protect our community. Tonight, you must make the easy decision to consider removing 1501 East 16th Street from the city's housing element in what should be the easiest vote that you ever have to cast. Like many here, I love the Environmental Nature Center. My daughter's first camp and her first school trip were at the ENC. It's where she learned to care for our environment, and she's proud of what she learned there. When I told her that a 35-plus housing unit was going to go in there, she cried. She was going to come tonight, but said it would be too upsetting for her to do so. So I'm here speaking for both of us. Let me be crystal clear. You're not voting to change anything tonight. You are simply voting to ask, is this right for Newport Beach? And it is not. So why isn't this an easy, unanimous vote? Look, leaders like you don't run from problems. Leaders like you fix them. A colossal mistake was made by putting 1501 East 16th Street as a housing opportunity site. And we need to correct this. And now you have the chance and the duty to review that decision and hopefully correct it for all of us. Now, why should you do this? Well, first of all, it's your due diligence to make sure that this happens. And not doing this would increase your legal risk.
You want to wrap it up?
So I'd ask you to vote yes to consider removing this as a housing unit, vote yes to protect what makes Newport special, and vote yes to protect the ENC, and vote yes to protect our children and their future here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, Mayor, council members, and city staff. Thank you so much for allowing this to be an agenda item. My name is Shayna Bannert Buxer, and I'm a longtime resident of Newport Beach, born and raised here, and I'm the current board chair of ENC, so it's nice to meet a few of you. As you know, ENC has deep roots in Orange County, as you can see behind me. Being 52 years old, I think that makes it 17 years old and working wardrobes. There are now generations of community members here who have benefited from this great nonprofit organization. And most elementary schools in Newport Mesa take a field trip here to ENC. So if you have children, likely your children have been to ENC and have come home with a rock or a stick. Many more of you have enjoyed nature camps, nature walks, animal sightings, bird sightings, and programming throughout the years. There are things I'm concerned about: safety, wildlife and habitat impact, and traffic and pollution. Most of the people are here because they know that ENC is a special place, and I think you do too. If you've been there, then you definitely know that. It is a different place, and it should be considered differently. At least it should have been considered differently. So we are asking you to right a wrong. I know it's not an easy decision, but I'm asking you to make that hard decision. Our community is showing you that we're real. We're not fake. We are telling you that this is very important to us. And I respectfully ask you to consider this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Taylor Johnson. Thank you so much for hearing me, council members. I am a volunteer at the Environment and Nature Center and spent many of my formative years there growing up as an adolescent. Let me be perfectly frank. I was never an impressive child. I did not have great grades, nor did I perform any extracurricular activities that would set me up for a greater experience in life. If anyone else were to have found me, they would have marked me off as a failure and would soon to be nothing. It was with Bo and Lori together that they showed me that there was more to life than just spending time in test sheets. It was with them that I learned to spend more time being more critical of the world, being visible to everything around it. And they taught to me a simple phrase: be kind. A simple two-word phrase that speaks volumes. At the Nature Center, that was the first thing that was taught to me when I spent many of my years there: to be kind. At the time, I didn't understand what that meant. Everyone knows how to be kind. You nod politely at your neighbors, you wish a good morning to passerbys, but these two words carry so much more weight than that. To be kind is to make space for those that cannot advocate for themselves, to support those that stumble and offer a place at the table for the voiceless to thrive. None more voiceless than native plants in the biome of Newport Beach, so protected by the many people that have tended the ENC grounds for over 50 years. To introduce these developments would seek to undo the community's cultivation between many generations. This lasting impact that many have strived for would be devastated. A natural focal point used by many to educate children, as well as adults, into the beauty and serenity of the natural world. I implore you to protect this landmark of Newport so that the future generations may enjoy it long after we are gone. Thank you.
Thank you. Before the next speaker, I would like to bring up Simone Georges, the Director of Planning, Community Development, Assistant City Manager, and just give us a brief update. I've heard a lot of the similar comments. I just want to get an update on what's going on with this project so everybody up here is clear what's happening.
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor, council members, and the public. So this property has been discussed. It is in the city's housing element. There's a housing overlay to allow a residential use. My understanding is the property is for sale. We've had one meeting with a housing developer that's come in to sit down with city staff and talk about a potential project. That project that they've shown us so far is a single-family detached for-sale product type. It is not high density, as we call it. It's not an apartment complex that we've seen maybe like up in the airport area. It's just single-family detached for sale. They have not submitted an application to us. They're just doing their due diligence to understand can they build and what is that minimum density that they can build. So we have minimum density requirements. You can't go lower than the minimum density, and they have discussed kind of just going at that minimum density. Today we've had correspondence come from the property owner's legal counsel. Now the city's under threat of litigation, and maybe you could have Ms. Summerhill address that letter, Mayor. And that's so far what I have on that project.
Okay. All right. Do you want to offer anything?
Thank you, Mayor Stapleton, members of the City Council. We did receive this afternoon at about 2:45 correspondence from the attorney for the property owner. They are currently in a purchase and sale agreement. They are currently in a purchase and sale agreement for the property, and they have reached out to the ENC for input on whatever project ends up coming forward there. So they are looking for input from the ENC, but it's my understanding that they do have a project and a developer going forward at this point.
Okay. All right.
I would
Go ahead.
also just, I'm sorry, one quick other thing is, we do have a tremendous number of people here today, but I would just reiterate to the council that the discussion amongst you should be limited as you make your decision to bring it forward as an A1 item.
Okay. All right. The floor is yours.
Hi, council members and mayor. No surprise here, but I'm also advocating to remove 1501 East 16th. Did I say my name? I don't know. I get nervous in front of crowds. My name's Kaylee Horn. I'm a proud homeowner in Eastside Costa Mesa, so you're not looking for my vote, but I'm still here to advocate for this. Both my children, my younger son currently attends the school, and my daughter here is among the first graduating classes. She attended all 3 years. And I want to challenge each and every one of you to really think about this one, because we as a species have put profit first over everything else. Over children, over safety, over environment for the last 100 or so years, and look where it's gotten us. We have fires taking out LA and floods throughout the Midwest and hurricanes taking out Florida. What if we imagined different? What if we did it differently? What if we picked something else besides pure profit? And with that, I will cede my time to one of the first graduating classes. This is Ellie.
Hello, my name is Ellie, and I say please don't put those houses there because the nature center is more just than a preschool. It's a center for animals, love, and more. It's really special to me, and if we let that just go and just put those houses there, then more kids won't be able to have fun, and they might just smell smoke somewhere and then be like, oh great, there's smoke coming from there. Yay. So I say please don't put those houses there, please.
Thank you, Ellie. If you guys would like to cede all your time to Ellie for the next 30 minutes, I'd be fine with it. Next speaker, please.
My name is Chelsea Kovacevic. I'm here with my son, Cannon. We're Corona Del Mar residents. And Cannon has been going to the ENC preschool for 2 years now. Our daughter, Posey, will be starting next year. And this is such a magical, magical place. Our kids have been involved since they were 6 months old, being as the mini naturalists, walking around, learning, and enjoying just the beauty of it. It is a true gem. And we ask, we beg you, please help us protect and save this sanctuary for our kids. My son Cannon would like to say a few words. Okay, he's changed his mind. Okay. Thank you.
Do you support or against? Sorry, support. All right, fair enough. All right, next speaker, please.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Kevin Wallace. I'm a proud parent of 2 children at the ENC. Our daughter Alana is in her 2nd year there. She's doing a fabulous job of playing semi-quietly with the rest of the kids here. And our son, Co, is a very proud alumnus. I've been a Newport Beach or Costa Mesa resident for close to 30 years. I didn't grow up here, so I wasn't introduced to the ENC until a relatively short time ago, about 7 years ago, when I found out about the development of the preschool. So I didn't get the chance to come as an elementary school student, but what I've seen over the last 7 years has just blown me away. You know, we've been incredibly fortunate to have both our kids attend the ENC. I'm struck at what a special place it is. You know, every time I drop one of them off, I'm like, I want to hang out here all day and just cruise. You know, we've made lifelong friends with many like-minded people, whether fellow parents, faculty. The ENC is such a gem. It's a unique space, not only in Newport Beach, but Orange County and frankly, the world. It would be a shame to see it altered by a large construction project. So obviously lots more traffic and noise potentially. So as many others have said, we're not trying to stop housing. However, I think it would be in the best interest of the community to remove this parcel from the overlay. Let's protect these unique and valuable spaces for generations to come. So I humbly ask you to please agendize this issue for discussion at the future meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members and staff. My name is Mindy Himmel, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. My husband and I discovered the ENC a few years ago and spent hours on the weekends with our young daughter exploring the trails and the plants and the streams. Both the ENC and the adjacent preschool is an oasis in Orange County that holds a super special place in my heart. We were over the moon when our daughter was accepted as a tortoise when she was 3. In a world that's become very disposable and phone-based, the ENC is a place that values sustainability, longevity, and play-based learning outside, surrounded by nature. I'm a proponent of development as well and maximizing the use of the valuable land that surrounds us. Having said this, it shouldn't be at the cost of significant impact to this one-of-a-kind public space and preschool. We urge you to reconsider the best use of this space, particularly as it relates to the impact of its neighbor, enabling it to continue to be the unique, transformative environment that it is. As others have said, if you haven't yet, I encourage you to visit. If you have already visited, visit again. The first time I did, I felt I had been transported to the middle of a very special place, and we'd love for you to help us preserve that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sierra.
Nailed it.
And hello, I'm Milan.
My name is Jessica, and these are my 2 children. He was an inaugural bear at ENC, and she is currently a bear, 5 years old, in the ENC preschool. And she wanted to say, we don't want those houses there. We like our nature. It's too scary to have people staring at us while we're running. We want to see the sky, not houses. I also wanted to just take an opportunity to read some quotes that I found about national parks. I believe that the ENC is like a national park, and we need to preserve the nature for people. Our ENC is a treasure, and they must be preserved and protected. There's nothing so American as our ENC. The fundamental idea behind the park is that the country belongs to the people, that it is in process of making for the enrichment of the lives of all of us. In every walk with nature, one receives far more than he seeks. One of the great things about ENC is that it belongs to everybody. ENC and reserves are an integral aspect of intelligent use of natural resources. It is the course of wisdom to set aside an ample portion of our natural resources as national parks and reserves and ENC, thus ensuring the future generations may know the majesty of the earth as we know it today. One more chance?
I'm scared.
Okay. Thank you so much for
All right.
listening.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, City Council. My name is Caitlin Carey, and I'm a mother. I'm sure you know why I'm here today. This is my daughter, Isla. She is a bear in the ENC preschool. This is more than a zoning issue or a land use question. This is about protecting the health, safety, and emotional well-being of our community's youngest, most vulnerable members, our children, especially against proposed developer D.R. Horton. Construction sites bring a cascade of detrimental risks. Risks I'd like for you to ask yourselves, would I put my children in this scenario? A sampling of these threats includes noise pollution. Construction equipment can significantly disrupt early learning environments. Sustained noise can impair language acquisition, memory, and emotional regulation while causing issues in young children during years critical for brain development. According to Newport Beach's general plan, preschools are considered noise-sensitive land uses. It emphasizes the importance of maintaining compatible land uses with environmental noise levels to protect such sensitive areas. The plan also states that preschools should not be exposed to more than 55 decibels externally during the day. Preschool nap time recommends 40 decibels for healthy rest. Equipment usage, however, from jackhammers to bulldozers range from 70 to 95 decibels as marked 50 feet from the source. Places above a hillside, such as that where the ENC and preschool sit, and these decibels are heightened due to downward refraction and hillside amplification. Additionally, airborne pollutants such as dust, diesel emissions, and disturbed soil can harm developing lungs. According to numerous pediatric health studies, children are particularly susceptible to respiratory conditions triggered by environmental pollutants. May I also bring to attention that Newport Bay Hospital was built in 1959, the height of asbestos usage in California. Without being properly managed, this can bring mesothelioma, asbestos, and lung cancer. If contractors skip proper containment or unlicensed crews are used, this risk can skyrocket, which brings me to my final point. Proposed buyer D.R. Horton, a major national, not local, home builder, raises alarms. They have 95 regulatory violations, 16 violations to the Clean Water Act, and hundreds of lawsuits alleging code deviations and construction defects such as mold, septic failures, cracked foundations, even homes built on top of landfills. This is not a responsible or community-minded builder, yet we are planning to not only put them next to an environmental center, but a preschool. Preschools are not just daycares. They are foundational environments that shape emotional security, confidence, and learning. My daughters deserved a safe, calm, clean place to learn and grow, and every child in that classroom deserves the same. There is no shortage of places to build, but there's only one childhood. Once disrupted, we can't get it back, and our children will not understand zoning or laws or economic development plans, but they will feel the fear when construction noise jolts them awake from naps, the stress when their outdoor playscape is unusable, and the confusion when their teachers tell them they are no longer to utilize the ENC because of safety concerns.
Okay, let's.
We know our community needs housing, but it also needs children to be protected. What message are we sending if we choose concrete over care? Growth at the cost of our kids is not progress, it's neglect. Please stand with our children, and please say no to this development.
All right, thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, I'm Gaetana. Protect our school and let them
Whatever you want to say.
protect our school and protect ENC. We love our school. We love our school, and we make them happy.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members. Thank you for this time. I'll keep it short. My name is Desiree Romero. I'm an Orange County resident, been all my life, and I'm a naturalist educator for the ENC, as well as a nature therapy guide. I urge you to take 1501 East 16th Street off of the agenda for future housing. I'm not against future housing. I myself struggle in my housing that I have in Huntington Beach, and I do understand the need for housing, but I would urge you to take this parcel off of the agenda and having it be housing against the ENC's walls here. Every day I go to work and see the joy and the love that I have for teaching these children about nature, preserving nature, and taking care of our planet. And also as a nature therapy guide in our busy world, this is one of our last gems where I can take clients who suffer from PTSD and have this sanctuary where it's calm, it's quiet, and we have interactions with nature, and we can help those PTSD as well as just everyday people that come to that property. I invite you to come on a nature therapy walk with me. The proven science behind having quiet space outside in a green area is tremendous, and taking that away because of future housing with this construction will detrimentally affect the more than human world that we so have a precious disconnect from. And if we do have this future construction happening there, it will stir away our nature that is the nature center. The animals will have to find a new home because of the construction. So we will no longer have this green space for our children for education, as well as for our adults for our mental health. Again, also for our children for mental health as well. So I urge you to take this parcel off for our future generations, as well as our more than human world that will detrimentally put a stop to the nature at the Nature Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Sergio Teles, and I'm here with the Coastal Corridor Alliance. We used to be the Banning Ranch Conservancy. We're an environmental nonprofit that focuses on ecological wildlife preservation and conservation. And recently, we protected 387 acres from development, and it is along the Santa Ana River, so parts of Costa Mesa, Huntington, and Newport. And our partners, the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority, hold the title to this land, and we are working together with a team of consultants to create a plan for public access, but also to prepare for sea level rise. So this is going to eventually be open to the public, and we don't want to design a preserve for the community. We want the community to help us design it for themselves. So we want their input, we want their feedback, and some of the feedback we've received has been like they would want to see hiking trails, benches for watching the sunset, or just a place where they can go detached and just immersed in the sounds of nature. Those are some of the feedbacks we received, and so there's a lot of different ways you can give us your comments or your feedback. One of them is by going into our website, which is arundelpreserve.org, or by attending one of our meetings. So we're going to have a total of 4 meetings. The first one is going to be Zoom on Thursday, May 15th, from 4 to 5 p.m. This second one would be at Field Work in Costa Mesa, May 21st, from 7 to 9 p.m. And then the third one would be on Monday, June 2nd, from 7 to 9 p.m. at Norma Community Center. And the fourth and final one will be from 4 to 6 at Newport Beach Civic Center on Saturday, June 21st. Just we want your feedback. We need your help. So, and also just since I have a few seconds left, I also would support the ANC. My son goes there, obviously. I work for an environmental nonprofit, so yeah, so I wouldn't want to see any houses there, and looking at my son, or like the girl said, smokes. Who knows what kind of things they're smoking there?
All right. Thank you for keeping it on brand. Next speaker.
Mayor Stapleton, council, hardworking staff. Rick John, 54-year resident of Newport Beach, a student at the Environmental Nature Center through Newport Harbor High School in 1973. So I'm very vested interest. I've been on the board for the Environmental Nature Center for over 25 years, and I think the passion that's in this room and it's been expressed is quite evident. Just reflecting, we're one of the finest cities in the world. I've had able to travel. This is one of the finest. There's some jewels within this community that are worth preserving, and this is one of them to pass along. And after over 50 years of the Nature Center, I'm urging you to remove this from the housing element and take careful consideration of what happens even eventually down the road on this property. It'd be very important to us and the community here, and appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, City Council and Mayor. Thank you for your time and patience and letting our young children be a part of this process. It's a wonderful role model to get them involved in this, so thank you.
Okay, Charlie, come hold up our sign. Hi, forgive us while we set up for a second. I have brought some of these beautiful faces from 2 all the way up to 5 and 6 from the Environmental Nature Center preschool, just so that you can put some faces to all the beautiful words that you have been hearing tonight. My name is Emma. I have been a teacher there for about 4 years now, and I'm just a little bit older than them, but I could say it's changed my life as well. And while they might not be able to spell or define steward, in their hearts and in their brains, they know exactly what that means. And it took absolutely nothing for them to understand the significance and the importance of why we have to protect this gem in Newport Beach and why we have to protect the ideology that it stands for as well. We have some things that our friends wanted you to know, that if there was a new building at our school, that the birds would no longer have a home and that the trees would not live anymore and their land would be covered and their plants would die and there wouldn't be any more school for the kids to come. And I have always been a firm believer, as any of these children would tell you too, that if you're going to save the world, you have to start here. So please, please don't forget that. Please keep that in your hearts too. And please help all children learn how to be stewards as well as we move forward.
All right. Thank you. All right, next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Ben Abrams, and I grew up in Newport Beach. I learned to walk at the ENC. It's been an integral part of my childhood, and I want nothing more than for the kids of the next generation to be able to experience the same thing. Growing up, I could go to the ENC, I could learn about nature. In a town that already has so much great nature, we need to protect as much of it as possible. When I was 12, I started volunteering there as a horticultural intern, and it completely changed my worldview. I am now going into college for environmental sciences. If we do not protect the ENC, if we do not protect the land around the ENC, it will be degraded. And all the birds, all the bees, everything that lives there, I don't want to think about what will happen to it. I'm sorry.
Okay, next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Jessie Vallejo, and I want to thank you all for listening to all of us and taking our viewpoints into consideration when making this decision for our children, not for us. My husband, Mike Vallejo, is here, and he has an EDD. He's been in education for 20 years, teaching from preschool to elementary school, high school, and now college. Both of our children, Sailor and Maverick, attended and attend the ENC preschool. We are current CDM residents for 9 years. And when I struggled with the idea of pulling our son from regular preschool and putting him into the ENC, when we got that fateful call that he finally got off the wait list, it was my husband that told me it was important for him to go to the ENC. He was the one who said that he knows how important it is for children to be children as long as possible. He was the one who said social, emotional, and outdoor learning are far more important at this age than math and reading sitting inside a classroom will ever be. Every single parent of an ENC preschooler here has been on the wait list to get in, sometimes for up to 2 years. Why do you think that is? It's because of the completely unique environment that it provides. It's unique because of the outdoor experiences that they get that they cannot get anywhere else in Orange County. It's also unique because of the staff and teachers that allow our children to learn differently in this outdoor experience. It allows our children to learn outside 95% of the time, even during the pouring rain. It allows our children to be kids in a safe and unique environment. And I agree with everyone who has spoken in front of me, but I also want to pause now and address the safety issue even more. We can all agree that safety for our children is by far the #1 priority amongst all else. We can also all agree that whether it's a multi-story building, unit, individual home, it is not safe for anyone to be peering directly into our children.
Okay, that's 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello there, my name is Milo Stewart. I've kind of been inspired by the people to come up here and speak, and it's about safety. I'm a native to the Flower Streets, and I have a background in military contracting and counterterrorism. I came home to boys in the lineup surfing 56th Street talking about boats that they watched on Surfline coming up and docking. I thought that was wild, so I looked it up. really crazy videos. In my free time, I like to teach surf lessons, and in my personal experience, almost every morning that I had early morning clients, there were also people checking all of the cars down by the river jetties, all of the houses to see if they were locked. So I've come up here after engaging with the police department last weekend on a man who was defecating and screaming at a wall in the middle of the park, Irvine Terrace Park. So I came up here to say, yes, safety, our children are very important. It's important to stay vigilant with what's going on. And finally, I'd like to say thank you to the Newport Beach Police Department, specifically Officer Jose, who showed up professionally, very quickly. And I mean, we didn't get that guy, but I have a lot of pride in you guys and how you handled it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, I'm Jody Joffrey. I grew up in Newport. I've seen a lot of changes. It used to be eucalyptus trees. And most of the changes have been positive. It's a beautiful place to live. But the last few projects I've heard about, I can't believe it. 140 units on Bayside Drive. Do you guys drive? Do you know how many cars, the traffic, the water, the electricity? I didn't even know about this project, but I agree with everything everybody said. We just need to slow down. There's so much traffic here now. We have, a few years ago, they were rationing water. We just had blackouts the last couple weeks. Please think, stop with this madness, with all of this development. These people come in, they develop, and they leave, and we're stuck with the traffic. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. No applause, no applause.
Hello, my name is Sage, and
You need a minute. My name is Angela Samuels, and I'm Sage's mom, and I'm the visual representation of somebody who waited years for Sage to go to the ENC, right? And I'm also a local business owner. I live in Costa Mesa, and we advertise in Newport Beach Living and Scout Guide, and we are also here to advocate for the ENC and that special place that you guys have been hearing about for an hour and a half that taught Sage the patience to wait an hour and a half to get up and speak for herself in front of a group, right? And what do you want to say?
Please protect our school.
Thank you.
Oh.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Sage. All right, next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Douglas Williams. I'm born and raised in Newport Beach in Costa Mesa. I have a background in biology, and I've worked in air testing for the last 20 years. I work with the South Coast Air Quality Management District. I'm just here to, as a father and a husband of someone who is a teacher and a student at the ENC. I went to Newport Harbor High School and grew up right next to the ENC. It's been an amazing place to grow and everything, and it's a shame to see what it's become with all the development around it. I just want to let everyone know that with the asbestos that was talked about earlier, that is very evident that children are susceptible receptors, as they are called in our business kind of thing, and just want to make sure that that's known by the council, that asbestos can be detrimental to susceptible receptors, as well as particulate matter, 2.5, PM210, diesel exhaust. You got dust coming from the construction, but as well as increased car exhaust from the increased cars that will be coming to such a development. The contractors have already torn down trees that were there as a block, so now there's even less natural environment blocking that sort of dust and stuff getting to the children. So I just want to let everybody know that there's rules for the South Coast AQMD. There's dust rules 401, public nuisance rule 402, and rule 403 for fugitive dust. These can all be, people can call and complain about this. There's asbestos rules as well that they need to be following. Licensed contractors, the project can be shut down indefinitely if these requirements are not met. I just want everyone to know that these are rules and regulations and need to be followed. And I support the ENC and not a development there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Mayor Stapleton, council members. My name is Albert Lin. I am the father of Aaron, who is a student at ENC. I am also a Newport Beach resident that lives in very similar homes that are going to be built up. I am on the HOA board, and the type of people that are going to be buying these homes, and they're going to be investors, they're going to be people that are going to be renting their homes out, they're going to be renting them for the summer. The noise type of pollution, I understand the need that you guys have right now to build more homes in this community. About 5 years ago, I did attend one of your meetings about where can you expand and things like that. This does not seem to be the place to do it. I just want to urge you to understand the type of people that you will attract to these type of homes that will affect the nature center out there. So again, as my son who loves this school, he wants to say something really quick. You want to say something? Maybe not. But thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Matt Barnes. I live in Costa Mesa, but I do have several businesses that I run in Newport Beach. One thing that I think is a misconception about the ENC a lot of the times, my background originally, my original career was education. I did a master's in education, and I think from the outside perspective, a lot of people might think that the ENC preschool is, I don't know, sort of the hippie preschool. And I know that because that's kind of what I thought until my four oldest kids went through there. And first of all, this is a world-class school. They're on the cutting edge of what educational research is saying is effective education. These kids, my kids, this one's not mine, but I've seen them go through this, and it transformed them. And I was not raised like that. I have been described by many as indoorsy, but these guys, like, they're getting a different kind of foundation than most kids get, especially here in Orange County. And it's so transformative and important. And so anything we can do to protect that and to provide that for more students. I mean, if possible, I think what Bo said is the best. Man, I'd love to see that become an elementary school for ENC. But I'm going to let somebody cuter say something. This is my daughter, Violet.
So I really don't want the ENC to have that building there because it will disturb the animals. It will probably block the sun, and the animals' food will probably disappear. And it's my favorite school, well, one of them. And I just don't want to let all those memories go. And it was where I met some friends, and I don't really want anything that is important to go away from that school. So, wait, what?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Leah Green, and I have had the privilege of having two girls get to be a part of the ENC magical ecosystem that it is. And I mean, you've heard from so many people here tonight, but I don't know, it's an important place. Kids have so many years of learning to read and write and typical classroom things, but the ENC is a place where kids can unapologetically be kids and take their clothes off like this one, which happens often, honestly, at the Nature Center. But I mean, learning about pollinators and pollution and wildlife and how to protect our neighbors and leave a place better than they found it is just, those are things that you don't learn in other places. And my daughter, Charlie, is now in a different school environment. She's in a private school, and I hear her telling her pre-K students about don't kill that bug and how important it is for the ecosystem. And you know, it's just such beautiful things for kids to learn at that age. And did you want to say anything, Fluffy?
Protect the environment.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Okay.
Hi, Shima Sofer Barron, lifelong Newport Mesa resident. My daughter was part of the inaugural class at the ENC, and we just had such a wonderful, wonderful experience there and wanted to lend our support. There were so many brilliant points brought up by everyone today, and we add support to that. The ENC, there's really nothing like it anywhere around. It makes our city so unique, and it is turning out really wonderful children. And also the LEED certified gold standard, I mean, the environmental thoughtfulness that was put into it. So the construction, you know. And on that note, my daughter would like to say something.
Hi, I'm Esme. Please don't put the building there. I like the ENC how it is.
Okay.
There it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Short and sweet. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is James Wood, and my son and daughter both went to ENC, and it was the most incredible experience for them, the most incredible education. We feel like they came out of there wiser people, not just better educated, but wiser because of the environment in which they were educated and the way they were educated. And I know that if a multi-resident building or buildings are put there, it's just going to completely change the feel and the environment and the experience that the kids get from that. And from a builder's standpoint, or whoever's looking to develop that place, they speak the language of money. That's all it is. We could all speak until we were blue in the face about why they shouldn't build there and what they're gonna compromise and how it's gonna affect the futures of so many children. But really, when it comes down to it, in the end, I think that a lot of us are here because of the fact that this is a place that we can actually speak to somebody who could actually have an effect on the outcome of that property for the future, which will ultimately affect the outcome of educations for so many, thousands of children in the future, if you think about it, really. So I'm here pleading with all the rest of the people, the parents, the children, the teachers, everybody who has a vested interest in keeping this place the way it is so that many generations to come can experience the beauty and the education that can be taken from ENC. So thank you, and I hope you guys are able to have a positive effect on the outcome of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Dion Gray, and I'm an Irvine Unified School District elementary retired teacher. I brought hundreds of children to the ENC, spoke to Lori Whalen many times. And I just wanted to reiterate what everyone else is saying, that it is an amazing environment for students, adults, for everyone, and I encourage you to keep it at the oasis that it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, I wasn't going to speak, but after hearing about the developer being possibly D.R. Horton, I thought I wanted to share my story. My name's Christy. I'm a long-term resident of Orange County. I'm also an early childhood education major. I vividly recall the exciting plans for the ENC Nature Preschool and the ENC program to open. I knew that it would be valuable to the future children, and I wanted to be part of this experience as it is unique. However, life took me to Texas in 2019. The difference in early childhood education and quality care for out there was eye-opening. I actually left the field. Our decision was to come back home so that way my daughter can have quality care. However, we knew we couldn't afford it. We started to plan our family. I got pregnant and we got a home. However, we never moved into that home because it was built by D.R. Horton and we were on shared land with a crematorium. Texas has different EOC laws, and I knew I didn't want to be breathing in the pollution that would go into my home. So we made the difficult decision. My husband works 5 jobs. I never see him. We now have a 2-year-old daughter who was enrolled at Harry and Grace Steele Children's Center until recently when they announced that they're doing layoffs and taking away her wing of the preschool. Luckily, at 5 months pregnant, when I got to California, I put my daughter on the waiting list for the ENC Nature School as a new Sue Birlick, as a director and mentor within the early childhood program. Now, here I am standing in front of you, less than 2 months, and I'm fighting for my daughter's education. It's sad to be here, having to fight for a child's education and knowing that children's education and just their place in life is so disposable. I'm asking all of you, please, think about this, not only from a first-time mom and a child that's going through so many different transitions and all as hardship as a family, but also knowing that this has such a high impact on our community, our environment, and the education of children and our future.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker, please.
I don't think I can follow that. I forgot to say one thing when I was
Did
up
you already
here.
speak?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
It's really quick. I'm the last
If I let
person.
you speak, I'm going to have to let everyone else
Does
speak.
everyone else want to speak? Like,
Oh my gosh.
Just one quick little story.
All right, 30 seconds.
Okay, it's less than that. I didn't know how long this was going to take. So when I was putting my son to bed last night, I said, I'm going to the city council meeting tomorrow, and I just wanted to make sure, I might not be home to tuck you into bed. And he said, tell the city council thank you for protecting the ENC because I love that place. That's all.
Okay.
And we thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other public comments on this item?
I'm not speaking.
They want to speak. Okay.
I've already spoken.
All right.
This is Isla, and she's a bear. What would you like to say?
That's not what bears sound like.
Oh, okay. Yep. And we lost our other one.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Would you like to say anything about the ENC and why you like it?
Okay. All right, any other public comments on this item? Is there anyone else who wants to speak after this? If not, I'll assume this is the last speaker. Okay.
And I didn't intend to speak either. Sitting through this, I spent my childhood watching my favorite places be terraced and bulldozed and turned into houses. Laguna Hills, Mission Viejo, El Toro area primarily, also Poway and Walnut Creek. Kind of made me who I am today, why you see me at so many meetings. Sitting here listening to these folks, you know my position on the pool at Lower Castaways. I don't think Coastal will allow you to build that there. What if, that $47 million pool, we saw a lot of water polos here advocating for that, but not this many. What if the half of that was city funds were applied towards purchasing this property? I mean, there's already an existing pool that water polo players use. It's inconvenient for people, but given the number of people that are very passionate about this particular spot, perhaps the city should invest that near $25 million in looking at purchasing this and protecting it forever, and then figure out where a pool can be sited where we don't incur all the expense that's going to come with trying to permit the pool in the wrong location. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to take Mayor's prerogative. Bob Henry's family is here tonight. The chief miner's here. I'll welcome the chief up. On Sunday marked 30 years since we lost a Newport Beach police officer at Castaways. So I wanted to move it in the agenda for a moment and welcome our chief, Dave Miner, and the Bob Henry family. So the floor is yours, chief.
Thanks, Mayor Stapleton, members of council. Thanks for giving us this opportunity to remember our brother Bob Henry, who 30 years ago on Sunday was tragically taken from us. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Bob. Robert Joseph Henry was born on December 15th, 1964 in Orange County, California. He attended and played football at Mater Dei High School, class of 1983. In 1987, Bob married his wife, Patty. Bob was hired by the Newport Beach Police Department and graduated from the Orange County Sheriff's Academy, class 94 in 1990. Between 1987 and 1995, Bob and Patty had 3 children. Bob, who's now 36, Jenna, now 32, and Alyssa, now 30. Alyssa was only 4 weeks old on the morning of the tragic events of March 12, 1995. That morning, Bob was working night watch patrol assigned as Unit 126, covering the area west of the Back Bay from PCH up to the airport, what we now refer to as Area 2. He encountered a suspect on 16th Street just east of Dover, which is across the street from the ENC, which we're talking about tonight. The contact turned violent, with Bob being shot multiple times and once in the head. The suspect committed suicide at the scene. Bob was rushed to Hoag ER and survived in a coma for 33 days. For that entire time, there was an officer posted with him 24 hours a day. His family was at his side when he passed away on the morning of April 13th, 1995. Bob will forever be remembered as a loving husband, father, son, brother, and friend. Although 30 years have passed, he is still alive in a special way through his children and now 3 grandchildren. He will forever be remembered as a dedicated protector of the Newport Beach community, and for that community he gave his life. And most of us at the department didn't know Bob, but we wear the same uniform, we work the same beat, we have the same mission to serve and protect this community. And for that we feel a kinship and a loss, and he'll never be forgotten. And for that we appreciate this moment to honor him on this 30th anniversary. And we're fortunate and blessed tonight to have several of his family members here. Patty, Alyssa, her husband Zach, and 2 grandchildren, Presley and Beckham. Thank you.
Thank you. Assuming the family's in the back with you, Chief? All right, well, on behalf of the entire city of Newport Beach, thank you. For our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. And, Officer Henry made the ultimate sacrifice to protect our quality of life. So his legacy will continue to live on. So thank you for being here, and we'll continue to keep you in our prayers. Thank you. Okay. Let's switch gears here. Now is the time for council announcements on oral reports from council members on committee activities, and the time for council members to request an A1 item to be placed on a future agenda. Councilman Weigand, do you have any announcements or reports?
None tonight.
Okay. Bartow?
No report.
Brant?
Just a few things that happened in the community that I want to share. We were able to celebrate the Commodores Club of Newport Beach Chamber and Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce 65th anniversary. It was a wonderful night celebrating with many longtime residents and people who do a lot of amazing work in our community. We also had an opportunity to, as a group here, many of us, and I for one, participate in story time at Mariners Library. It's a wonderful time, National Library Week in our community, when we all gather together and participate with the programming that happens at our wonderful Newport Beach Public Library, and appreciate all the library staff for pulling that together. And then 2 other events that we had recently in the city: the 52nd Annual Police Appreciation Luncheon, which was hosted also by the Commodores Club of the Newport Beach Chamber. It was a very touching time to hear all of the really heroic efforts of our police department that happened over the last year, and I really appreciate having an opportunity to share in their successes in working in our community. And finally, we had the Mayor's Egg Race this last weekend, celebrating Easter, and had all of our children out here on the lawn, and it was a great community celebration. Thank you.
And I did not win the egg race, so that's okay. That was the only thing I was told. You can't win. Good for me. Councilmember Blom.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Councilmember Weber.
Nothing.
Mayor Pro Tem Kleiman.
So I had the privilege of kicking off National Library Week during Storytime in Corona Del Mar. I gave my first brownie troop tour of City Hall, which was definitely the most fun that I've had as a council member to date, although tonight's certainly proving to be a blast as well. I attended and spoke at the OCOG annual conference. I also joined the 3rd annual Women in Leadership Summit and hosted the Sober Living Task Force legislative meeting. Lastly, I hope that everyone will come out to engage with neighbors and support local businesses for Corona Del Mar's new 3rd Thursdays, April 17th, 5 to 8 p.m. Fire station will be open. Our Mountain Dew will be out. The library will also be doing some fun family activities, live music, face painting, art exhibitions, games, specials, and giveaways. Hope to see everyone there.
How else would you want to spend your birthday? Here with your best friends.
Yes, and thank you everyone for coming out to celebrate my birthday.
Yes, we're all here for you. I have a couple quick announcements. Congratulations to the Rotary Club. I was able to attend their youth track meet. 400 or 500 kids were out there competing. I also was one of the main judges of the Corona Del Mar High School car show, so good job to the CDM High School for all that they did. The Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce, obviously with the Scholarship Awards dinner, terrific. Seeing 38 students, all 4.6, 4.7 and above, going to Stanford, Cal, Harvard. I mean, our future is very bright with the kids coming out of our schools here. I also did the graduation for the Mayor's Youth Council, so it was fun to see all the students engaging in that. Also I made it to the big leagues. I'm at the main library this time for the National Library Week, so that was a lot of fun. Less dancing this time, which is good for me. And then the Chamber of Commerce and the Commodores Club for the Police Appreciation Luncheon, one of my favorite events of the year. I also presented at the Lido Isle HOA annual meeting. Also did attend the Mayor's Egg Race. And then Chief Boyles, our fire chief, brought the Ensenada, one of our sister cities, brought the fire chief here to City Hall. We got to hang out with him. And I get to talk about that because Harbor Master Paul Blank is heading down to Ensenada next Friday. We have the Ensenada or the Newport to Ensenada race, and I will be on the water and look forward to that. So that's going to be a great time. And I don't know, is John Pope here? Oh, I'm going to embarrass him even though he's not. John Pope is our public information officer at the California Association of Public Information Officials, a 1,000-member organization that provides training and resources to public sector communication professionals throughout California. John Pope, RPIO, was named the association's Paul B. Clark Award recipient. This is an award given to an individual who has demonstrated exceptional leadership and career-long achievement in the field of public information. So we're so proud of John to see him recognized by his peers, not just by his body of work, but by the time and care he's put into mentoring others and advancing the profession. So well-deserved, John. Okay, now we're at the matters which council members have asked to be placed on future agenda. This is a non-discussion item, so Councilmember Weber has asked council to consider creating City Council ad hoc committee to review the city's policy on the use of pesticides and make recommendations to the council. So we'll go to a straw vote on this item.
It is 7-0. That passes unanimously.
Okay. Next, Councilmember Wygan has asked council to consider removing the property located at 1501 16th Street from the city's general plan, so it is no longer designated as a housing opportunity site. Straw vote on that.
Can we get a point of clarification on that from the city attorney? Is there an opportunity for us to adjust the A1 at this meeting to perhaps have a different scope, or do we have to vote exactly on how it's worded?
It's written in the agenda very specifically, and so I would advise you to stick with how it is.
Thank you.
Okay, straw vote on that item.
The item fails 6-1.
Okay. Lastly, myself and Councilmember Grant have asked council to consider creating a historian laureate program to increase public awareness for the history of the city. Straw vote.
That item carries 7-0.
Okay. Madam Clerk, would you please read the notice regarding public comments on the consent calendar?
Thank you, Mayor. And I just wanted to make a quick announcement. I'm having technical difficulties, so I will need to take straw votes for each vote tonight. This is a time in which council members may pull items from the consent calendar for discussion, items 1 through 11. Public comments are also invited on consent calendar items. Speakers must limit comments to 3 minutes. Before speaking, please state your name for the record. If any item is removed from the consent calendar by a council member, members of the public are invited to speak on each item for up to 3 minutes per item. All matters listed under consent calendar are considered to be routine and will all be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. Council members have received detailed staff reports on each of the items recommending an action. There is no separate discussion of these items prior to the time the City Council votes on the motion unless members of the City Council request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar for separate action.
Okay, terrific. Councilmember Wygan, do you have any items to pull from the consent calendar or conflicts to announce related to items 1 through 11?
I have none.
Councilmember Bartow?
I do not.
Councilmember Grant?
None.
Councilmember Blom?
I have recusal on item number 4 due to real property interests at 501 and 417 30th.
Okay. Councilmember Weber?
None.
Mayor Pro Tem Kleiman?
I am pulling item number 10.
Keep the party going. Okay, myself, none. So do we have a motion?
I move the consent calendar, except for item 10, which I pulled, and noting the recusal by Councilmember Blom to item number 4.
And updates to the minutes. Are there any?
Nope.
Okay. We will now have, is there a second for this motion? Okay, Councilmember Grant seconds. Okay, we'll now have public comments on items 1 through 11, except for item number 10, because we will be talking about that shortly. Public comments on items 1 through 11.
Good evening, Adam Leverins again, speaking to consent agenda item 9 and the ideal of governments using tax dollars as wisely and efficiently as possible. Approval of this item will provide that up to $1.5 million over the next 5 years be divvied up among 3 contractors for marine/coastal engineering and harbor-related services. At the February 5th coastal meeting of the Coastal Commission, commissioners had noted how the city has access to a whole bunch of experts in this field. They were referring to mooring permittees. I've learned that some of these mooring permittees are engineers, attorneys, educators, numerous licensed captains, professional fisher and lobster men and women, et cetera, et cetera. Cumulatively, they have hundreds of years of maritime experience. Some of them, there's liveaboard permits. There's people out there that are on the harbor 24/7, 365. And I would encourage that in addition to these 3 contractors the city's going to hire at $1.5 million over 5 years, that there be outreach to these people. They've freely given of their time, their knowledge, and even their money. They've paid for engineering studies and appraisals and things like that. So I'd hope to see some collaboration in the future on harbor-related issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers on this item? Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back here. Any other additional council comments on this? Should we wait until she gets back? You don't have her proxy to vote for? Okay. Wait a second. Yeah. Okay, let's vote for items 1 through 11, except for item number 10, which has been pulled. Straw
Please
vote.
raise your hand.
All those in favor, straw vote. Hands up. There we go.
That is unanimous, 7-0.
Cool. Let's get back on track here. Okay, it looks like we had item number 10 that was removed from the consent calendar, so we'll start with, do you want to report on this, Mayor Pro Tem?
No, I do not need a staff report. I'm supportive of moving forward with this agreement to work with Carpy and Clay, but after the scope was done, we've had a few things come up that I would like to see us possibly amend the contract to include. With our federal lobby efforts, such as working to remove certain countries from the visa waiver program to address the residential burglaries committed by the South American theft groups, and 2, taking a new approach to our efforts on residential rehab reform, which Councilmember Grant and I have been talking in depth about for some time. So I know we have to go to public comment, but that would be my suggestion, that we approve the item or the agreement, but that we come back with those amendments.
With those amendments. Okay. Duly noted. Does anyone on council have any questions or comments before we go to public comments? Okay. Any public comments on this item? Okay. Seeing none. Any additional council comments? Okay. So
again, that's my
motion. You have the motion. Do we have a second? I'll second it. Okay. Let's vote.
That passes unanimously, 7-0.
Okay, terrific. Okay, so now we're going to the public hearing item. This is item number 12. It's a resolution 2025-13, notice of intent to override the Orange County Airport Land Use Commission's determination of inconsistency from an amendment to the Housing Opportunity Overlay Zoning and Coastal Zoning Districts. Do you guys need a staff report on this?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I failed to announce the ordinance title.
Oh, sorry.
Let me go ahead and do that. For item number 3, ordinance 2025-5, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newport Beach amending section 15.2.95, section 105.3.4 of the Newport Beach Municipal Code related to timeframes for completion of construction. And again, that was item number 3, which was approved unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody need a staff report on this item? No. Okay. Do you guys have any questions or comments on council? Yes, we're on 12. Item 12. Okay.
I just have a quick comment to you, or do I have to wait?
Let's do public comments, and then we can make that. Okay. Public comments on this item?
If we can just formally open the public hearing.
Formally open the public hearing. Okay. We are formally opening the public hearing. No, it's not. No. That's coming. You're the only one who came to speak on the farmer's market. I'm kidding, joking. All right, I'm closing the public hearing. Okay. Okay, so no more additional public comments, so council comments.
Thank you, Mayor. When this item comes back to us, I would just like to have a better understanding for the proposed height increase at St. Michael's Church. Given its proximity to schools, I would like to hear about the impacts associated with the denser project at that location.
Okay. Terrific. I'll look for a motion to approve this. Councilmember Blum? Yeah, staff recommendation. Okay. Do you have a second? Okay. Councilmember Grant, seconds.
Mr. Mayor, just a point of clarification on that last request. So that is pulling that out, or is that just further discussion?
So if I may, tonight we're just doing the resolution of intent to override. I think with respect to just wanting to see what comes forward at the June meeting, that was what I heard Councilmember Weber just seeking additional input on for Simone.
Just for that specific item.
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so we have a first and second, so let's vote. Hands.
That item passes unanimously 7-0.
Okay. Now we're going to go to current business. Item number 13, a revocable license agreement with Heritage Wellness Collective for temporary use of city property for the Coronel Del Mar Farmers Market. Let's go to staff report.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. Simone Georges, Assistant City Manager, and with me is Lauren Wooding-Whitlinger. She's a real property administrator. So tonight we're talking about a revocable license agreement for the Coronel Del Mar Farmers Market. The council and staff has received a lot of public comment on this. So before Lauren starts the presentation, I want to be very clear that it is a revocable license. It is not going to be for a swap meet. It's not going to be for food trucks. It is strictly for the operation of a farmer's market at the same location. So I want to be very crystal clear of what this is not going to be and what it is. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let Lauren make a brief presentation, and then happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. We have a presentation for you this evening, as Simone said, regarding the farmers market in Coronel Del Mar. The current market is located in Coronel Del Mar at the corner of Bayside Drive and Marguerite. The market is located in the municipal parking lots behind Banderas, Rite Aid, and it also spans across Larkspur Avenue, which is closed for the market operations. It's a weekly market. It operates on Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's a certified farmers market, so it has certified producers, certified farmers. It does not currently allow for the license agreement that it's under, does not currently allow for any hot food items or food for on-site consumption. And the license agreement allows for no more than 40 vendors under the current agreement. The weekly market averages around 29 vendors each week. This market was established in 1996 under a one-year encroachment agreement that was approved by City Council. It was extended a couple of times, and then Council approved another encroachment agreement in 1999. That allowed for a series of 10 one-year extensions. The agreement was then amended again or extended again in 2009. City Council approved a 5-year license agreement at that point. And then in 2014, Council approved the most recent agreement, a 5-year license agreement that had a 5-year extension. At that time, Council did also waive City Council Policy F7. There was never any procurement done for this agreement. It was first brought to the city by the current operator and members of the public. So at this time, we've issued an RFP for this market as well as the market that is down at McFadden Square near the Newport Pier.
And just to be clear, that the RFP that we've issued is consistent with the city council's policy. And so we have a policy that establishes process for the use of the city's property.
As Simone said, that City Council Policy F7 requires the city to bid out any use, private use of public property. It's an open bid process, and we also usually collect fair market value rent. It can be waived for nonprofit uses that have public support. We followed our typical procurement process to find vendors for this project. We posted the RFP, or the request for proposals, online through the city's public procurement process, Planet Bids. The submittals were then independently reviewed by a panel of staff members who scored those proposals, and then the highest scoring proposers were interviewed by that staff panel, which is typical of an RFP process that the city conducts. So when the RFP 2025-14 is how it's identified, that was issued in August of last year. It was published through Planet Bids. It was additionally emailed to over 150 groups in Southern California that operate other markets all over Orange County, LA County, San Diego, et cetera. We held a mandatory pre-bid meeting at the site in September, requiring all of the proposers that wanted to submit a proposal to attend the meeting, see the space, and walk it. We received 8 proposals when the RFP closed at the end of September. Those proposals were evaluated by the staff panel over a couple of months, and then the highest scoring individual proposers were invited for interviews in December of 2024. Over the last couple of months, staff has spent time with the city attorney's office, Public Works, police department, fire department, reviewing the agreement and all of the requirements, making sure that the agreement is as detailed as possible, and also address all of the safety considerations for a farmer's market, creating better pedestrian oriented, a better pedestrian orientation for the market. And then we have it in front of you this evening for your consideration. The scope of the farmers market RFP was developed by staff, which is customary. We looked at the current agreement, and we also researched what other markets include in other communities in Southern California. The RFP sought vendors that could expand on the success of the current market and also draw in more members of the community, more residents, offering seasonal events and other community-based events, while retaining the high-quality certified farmers that are there now. The market operators were also asked to partner with local businesses and drive more traffic from the community to the market, really trying to expand on the benefits in Corona Del Mar and kind of liven up the community. The 8 proposals were scored in accordance with the RFP. They were the experience of the firm, the staffing of the firm, the project approach, and the financial consideration for the vendors were all reviewed as part of the RFP evaluation. After the interview process, Heritage Wellness Collective was determined to have the highest score, and staff reached out to coordinate with them to put together the agreement that's in front of you this evening. Heritage Wellness Collective is a Southern California-based group that has over 15 years of experience operating markets in Southern California. They've run markets in Orange County, Riverside, Los Angeles, and San Bernardino counties. They have full-time staff that are able to handle the weekly market operations, able to participate in different community outreach and engagement events, and they have staff that are able to manage and engage all of the vendors and make sure that there are the appropriate administrative and documents that the city requires as well. The proposal that was submitted for the CDM Farmers Market by Heritage looked at curating the market based on the community's interests and community feedback. They have included an extensive list of sample events and examples of community engagement events that they would put on. They also talked about increasing their presence on social media, communicating with local residents and market attendees to let them know about special events, vendor pop-ups, and engaging with the local businesses. And then the RFP also included letters of support from other vendors, private landlords, and other public agencies that Heritage has worked with in the past. As Simone said, we have received extensive feedback from the community. We also attended the CDMRA meeting in March and provided a little bit of an update to the community. A lot of the feedback that we've heard seems like there's some misinformation out there, so we just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that the market was not going away. It's not turning into a swap meet. We heard that there were going to be food trucks. We're not intending to put a bunch of food trucks in the market. A large concern from the community was also anybody, losing the current vendors. Everyone wants the current vendors to stay. They're beloved members of the community at this point and provide great products to the community. So Heritage is committed to working to retain as many of the vendors as possible and has gotten a lot of interest from almost half of the vendors that are there now. They're also positioned to use a USDA grant that they received last year to assist current vendors to obtain their organic designation, and they've committed to increasing the number of organic vendors at the market. There was also concern about any parking impacts at the market. While the layout will change slightly from what it is right now, we don't anticipate that there will be significant changes to the parking in the community and that there will still be available parking for attendees. That concludes the presentation. Heritage is here this evening, and they're prepared to make a presentation to council if you'd like one.
Yeah, well, any comments on council before we go to public comments? Okay. All right, so now's the time where we'll go ahead and now hear public comments for this item. Like the last item, I'm going to limit to 2 minutes per speaker, and we'll go there. All right, first speaker.
Nancy Gardner. Two things stand out from the staff presentation. The first is we understand they consulted the fire department, the police department, community development, never consulted the people that use the market. Mm-hmm. Secondly,
Absolutely.
Secondly, I find it surprising that staff was the one that tells us what we want in our farmers market by creating an RFP that adds all sorts of new things, again, without consulting us. And with these bells and...
All right. She's a former mayor, so I'll allow it once, but that's it for applause.
With these bells and whistles, we're going to have music. Common courtesy would suggest that maybe those of us who live right there should be consulted. The last thing I want is every Saturday morning to be listening to music I don't want to listen to. So I would suggest that you start this process over. That step one is to ask those of us who use the market what we want. Maybe we do want change, but maybe we like it the way it is. And if that's the case, then leave it. Leave it with the current proprietor, and let's just go home with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
My name is Carol Gerritsen, an active real estate agent for over 44 years and resident of Corona Del Mar. I am a longtime attendee of our certified farmers market, along with so many others who only look to purchase our food and flowers, but see our friends, neighbors, and chat with the vendors we have come to know. Young families with their children, along with the elderly, make their way there every Saturday. It was not until 2 weeks ago when I was made aware the City Council was proposing a change to a large Inland Empire company, the Heritage Group, to take over and change our market. In researching, I come to find out that since August of 2024, you've been looking for an alternative operator. Where is the customer involvement? When do you enlist the residents' point of view? Even as of last Saturday, so many had no idea of the possible change. I have with me more signed petitions which I've given to retain the market as is, which now total approximately over 1,000 signatures. The market has been there now for nearly 3 decades. Corona Del Mar is a very special place. No apartments, Home Depot, Target, etc. Just a beautiful residential community and is a reflection of that. No one gets on a plane on the East Coast and says they're going to Corona Del Mar. They say Newport Beach. I had so many people tell me if they wanted a larger, more diverse farmers market, they would go to Mariners, UCI, or the Pier. Janet Toronsky and Vince Rice are 2 people who drive from Laguna each Saturday specifically to come to the market due to the size and quality of the produce. They only want food and flowers. Thank you, Mayor Stapleton, for coming to visit Saturday, as you said you've never been there. How many of you have visited our market? And also, have you visited the markets operated by Heritage? I would think decisions are to be based out of knowledge. In real estate, the homes, pictures, the photographs are beautiful, but then upon visiting, we see the deficiencies of the home. Just 1 second.
1 second.
Oh, wait a minute. I am asking you to hold off on any change of time. Let the residents be a part of the decision-making process. We are the ones who live and shop here. We want to be part of the review process. So please take no action. And I honestly want to say one thing.
Oh, Carol, that's enough.
Oh.
Please. One thing.
I asked every vendor there last Saturday if they have been reached out by anybody to be retained. And mayor and city council people, every single one of them said no, they haven't heard from anybody. I'm just letting you know that.
That's fine. Thank you. Next speaker, please. No applause, please. Thank you.
They're applauding for me, I think.
Yeah, they
clearly. My name's Chad Cooper, longtime resident of Newport Beach. I also own Rusty's Chips, which has been sold at the farmers market for a long time. I think the main thing I want to say is if it's not broken, don't fix it. This farmers market has been run so smoothly for all of the residents here in Newport Beach and Corona Del Mar. And there's just I've never spoken to anyone that has an issue with it or wants something different from what it is today. And I'd also like to say that there are unintended consequences to actions that you guys take. And I'll just speak for Rusty's Chips. We have 6 employees that have worked with us for 20 years. While the farmers market is not significant to us from a revenue standpoint, it is very important to us from a branding standpoint. And I would hate to think that something like this, where I know you guys are really trying to do your best for what's right for the community, but as a few people before me have said, we're not asking for change. This is not something that we're looking for. Noah, Arc Butcher Baker is one of my favorite. Your chicken sandwich is awesome. But if for some reason something was passed where that, is it 30th Street that you guys are on? 30th Street was all of a sudden blocked for some reason, it would impact you guys. And there are unintended consequences to actions that you guys take. I would just ask that you guys think about this, reconsider, and talk to residents before you make a decision. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Noah's tried to block 30th Street multiple times. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Susan Seaman. I'm a resident of Newport Beach, 34 years, proud resident, going to farmers market for 29 years, most Saturdays, unless I'm working. I'm concerned about what's about to change. The local community supports local certified farmers as is. If it's not broken, why fix it, just as he said. It's been 29 years. Our current market is clean, our vendors are happy, the people's happy, and we've had no police reports. We love to support all our local farmer friends. Current vendors must be certified organic farmers. It's a niche market. I'm here to ask we reconsider the expansion of our organic farmers market. The new proposals to expand, including pop-ups, food and beverage vendors, isn't this competing against our local restaurants, our owners, especially from the outside community? This creates unfair competition for local restaurants which operate under stricter guidelines. They pay rent and they carry a year-round overhead. I was also informed that this proposal they're making is to make Bayside Drive a permit parking only for their vendors and their big trucks. That could be a problem as well. Also proposed live entertainment and bands. That should go to Orange County Fairgrounds, not our quiet little CDM community. And they want to make it a kids event. They want to do face painting. I've heard other things like, it's not a kids place, it's an adult market. We go there, we shop, and we leave. I get what I want. When I go there, I go to see the seafood guy, I get my flowers, and I get my produce. I'm gone. It's not a place to hang out. People walk through the market, they leave. Organic food is important to our health, the CDM Village, our community that we live and love, and let's keep it organic and certified market. And I'd ask you to reconsider. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Julie Means, and I am honored and privileged and blessed to be a longtime Corona Del Mar resident. I've lived in Corona Del Mar longer than the farmers market has existed, and I enjoy it so much. It's the place that I call home, and the only place in my heart that has truly been a peaceful, loving community. This is a community. It is not a carnival. I concur with the rest of the people that have already spoken ahead of me, and as someone who works for local publications, I am shocked and surprised that this has even come to the attention and on the agenda, because I hadn't heard about it until a couple of weeks ago. My children, who are now grown adults who also frequent it, consider this to be part of the community. They have attended the farmers market when they were little babies in strollers, and we would go to the park adjacent to it to play afterwards. We didn't need face painting. We had friends. We had neighbors. We still have friends and neighbors. I walk to the farmers market. Occasionally I drive after tennis, and it's only because I want to be first in line to get my favorite yogurt or get the avocados before they're gone, or the strawberries that taste better than anything I can purchase in a store, or Adam, who used to give peaches to my kids when they were in the stroller. I am here because one of the premises you promised was to keep Newport, Newport. I'm not seeing that happening. Please, before you make any changes, talk to your residents, talk to the people that live here. We don't need bands. If you want to do that, do it on third Thursdays. That's a perfect place. I'm excited about that. I think that's awesome. Ask the restaurants if they want to have people come in and play music. I was just in France. There were musicians in the restaurants. I went to our sister city just because I wanted to find out what it was like before I thought about joining. So please, this has happened in the past where you kept the CDM library a library. Please consider keeping the current farmers market a community place, not a carnival. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, Council. Kristen Valle, very active community member. If we're going to have a community market, I believe that it should be ran by somebody who is actually in the community. I am the only Corona Del Mar resident who applied to run this farmers market, along with my business partner, Intencia Gerard, who is a Newport Beach mom and Army veteran. I looked up Heritage Wellness Collective, and I noticed that they do run several markets, so they might be qualified to run a market, but they are all very deep in the Inland Empire. Their markets surround Rancho Cucamonga and Moreno Valley. If they're going to do a copy and paste of an Inland Empire market and try to put it here in Corona Del Mar, I don't think that's going to work. Intencia and I are very well qualified to run the market. We already have relationships with most all of the Corona Del Mar businesses, with City Council. I know all of you guys personally. I could be easily held accountable because you all have my cell phone number. We have relationships with police and fire already, and I'm urging you guys to reconsider the recommendation from our administrators who do not even live in Newport Beach or attend the events here. They might have good intentions by, picking somebody that they think is qualified, but this is a very tight-knit community, and we need people in the community running the market. I would ask for a motion on the dais today to award the contract to B2G Consulting Pros. And another thing I'd like to add is that Heritage is a 501c3, so they're not even paying taxes. They're keeping all of their money for a charity and giving that money to their own special interests. It's not going back into the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. I would just say, if our staff doesn't live here, they still go to all these things, they attend, they're doing their best job. So I thank the staff for all their hard work on this item. But thank you for your comments. I love your passion.
Thanks.
Next speaker, please.
Hi, I'm Michael Carey. I'm a 75-year resident of Corona Del Mar. Used to body surf with her dad, Judge Gardner. Rick I've known since he was in 7th grade. Great guy. When I came back to Southern California and came home, my Saturday mornings were, I couldn't wait to go down to the market and meet all the people that live in this community. Through Rick. This is a great community. Now, folks, you did a great job, but I think when I was in business school, I did a report similar to that. There is nothing there that you talked about where you actually must have talked to the community. Numbers might look good, but the soul is our community. And with that also is that the parking situation, with that little tiny footprint and everything that you've promised or that they've promised that you could do, can't live up to that footprint. So thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, I'm Nancy Pollard. I live a block or two away from the market. I've lived there for nearly 40 years, and I've been going to the farmers market every Saturday since the day Rick started it. His kids and my kid used to play together. A farmer's market is really about supporting local farmers and the community. It's not about having a carnival, as some people have said, and doing face painting and all of that. It's about produce. I get all my produce there every week. I get a lot of my meat and seafood and cheese and eggs. And I found out about this potentially in February. I wrote a letter to you asking for more transparency on what was going on. Didn't get great response. I feel like the community wasn't consulted at all in this. We have some great farmers there right now and ranchers and other people, other vendors, and we don't need face painting. We don't need music. It's a small community, and I totally support what Nancy said about let's put this on pause. Leave it the way it is. If you want to reevaluate it, get community input before you do. And with the man who just spoke about everything they want to do, we don't have the parking space for that. It's a small community. Listen to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Diane Baker, 40-year resident and weekly shopper at the farmers market. It's good to look at all the options when it's time to renew a contract. But I was surprised to see one of the criteria was to have hot food booths. Another one was to have community events. This is a certified farmers market. And the purpose of a certified farmers market is for farmers, their employees, their family members to sell directly to customers. That would be me. I go there to buy fruits and vegetables, and then I go home. So I can put them away and attend events other places, like the library and Sherman Gardens, UCI, all the arts. And children, I notice, in our city, they're busy playing sports and water activities, going to church, scouting, brownie activities. I don't see any need for community events at this very small location where we have booths. So I recommend that the staff pull this from consent calendar and the council pull and send the staff back to find out if residents and customers want hot food booths and other side activities that make it more fair than a farmer's market. That would take away space that's needed for all the booths. Because we go there to get special items like chavamoyas and things that you can't buy other places. And if you don't think this celery is right at one booth, you can go to another booth. And so I don't want to lose the vendors that we have now and the large number where I can buy a variety of fruits and vegetables.
Great time, man. Next speaker, please.
Thank you, Mayor Stapleton, as well as members of the City Council. Debbie Stevens, resident of Corona Del Mar. The current manager has developed the concept for this, investigated, got it permitted, and has operated the market for over 20 years. A part of me wants to say, if it's not fixed, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But with that kind of time and no bid going out, I don't fault you guys for sending this out for review. However, I think the steps were missed that would have been so important to the community, and pretty much want to say ditto what Nancy Gardner just said, but the community should have been involved from the get-go. This would have been so easy to do at the farmer's market. What do you like to see? What do you think needs to be changed? What's your favorite vendors? What can we add? It would have been so easy to do, and I think you would have found, and you're going to hear it tonight, a certified farmer's market is the most important thing. Some of this other stuff, maybe, individuals, but that's the overall comment that most people will make. I agree that with Simone, there's been some bad public information out there, and I think that's a result of having poor communication with the community, and even including the vendors. The bidders. Some of the bidders found out they were not being considered at the Corona Del Mar Residents Association. That's just not fair to them. The current manager found out he was not being considered from an email that went out from Heritage Farms. And frankly, this is also not fair to Heritage Farms to walk into a situation where people are not embracing them. I think we could have done a much better job. Finally, regarding the local versus far away, it was very important when we looked at the police chief to have somebody that knew this community and had the respect of the people that he or she would represent. I think the same thing could be said about this farmer's market. They need to know this community, and they need to be respected by the vendors that they would represent. I would ask that, and I hate saying this, but I think this process needs to be redone. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Brent Miller. I'm a 40-year resident of Newport Beach and longtime frequenter of the farmers market. I'm here tonight, though, to express my concern regarding some potential violations of the terms and conditions outlined in Section 17 of the Request for Proposal, the RFP, as you refer to it, for the Corona Del Mar's farmers market. Specifically, the section prohibits contact between city personnel and proposers during the procurement process, stating specifically that questions related to the RFP procurement process, proposed evaluation process, and proposal selection process are to be directed solely to the RFP administrator, who is the designated point of contact. Proposers shall not contact any city personnel regarding the project until the conclusion of the entire procurement process, which shall be defined as agreement award. Unauthorized contact may result in the disqualification of proposals. It's my belief that a council member or members have engaged in direct communication with specific applicants during the RFP process, thereby violating the clear terms outlined. To address this matter appropriately and preserve the integrity of the public process, I respectfully request that you consider one of the following actions. either allow the Corona Del Mar Certified Farmers Market to continue operations under its current management, or initiate a new, unbiased RFP process that ensures transparency and compliance with established procedures. If this matter is not remedied, we will have no choice but to initiate a formal filing process under the California Public Records Act to further investigate and pursue appropriate resolution. I sincerely hope that this can be resolved in a cooperative and constructive manner consistent with the public's interest and ethical standards expected of our city leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Nadine Berthume, and this is my husband Dave. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. We live on Jasmine Avenue, and that's like right next to where the farmers market is. And we were just shocked that we literally just found out about this about a month ago. So we had no clue that this was even being proposed, something new was going to be happening. So I was wondering, a question to you, did you send us a letter to let us know that this was something? Because this sounds like a really big impact to the people that live close. If there's going to be music and food trucks and kids face painting, I mean, is this really what it is? Because there's really no clear definition. Is that what is going to be happening? You don't answer
Public
back?
comments, no.
Because we don't know anything.
This seems
Yeah.
to me
Ma'am,
that
this is just-
farmers markets are for the community, and I feel like that's the one part that's been missing from this whole process. What you were saying earlier, these are for the people. Nobody's crying for this to have change, right? So why is there some change, and why aren't the local community being asked about these change, and why, what they actually would like in something? For us, living really close, and that farmers market now moving into that grassy area where there's face paintings and music and all this kind of stuff, and based on the drawing we saw online while we were waiting for this, parking seems to be that they're going to put vendor parking on our street. So where do I park? So I feel like we're very impacted as
And there's
residents.
a lot of questions. That's unfortunate that you can't tell us the answers, because there's so many questions that we have that haven't been answered. And the other thing that I would also feel is like, this gives me the vibe of the Christmas walk. It's like the Christmas walk is fantastic once a year, but I don't want to live next to the Christmas walk every weekend. I don't want, I don't want to have music when I wake up. I don't want to have people throwing their trash in my yard. I don't want to have, and maybe alcohol won't be allowed, but I mean, you know how it is. But that's fine once a year. But I don't want it every weekend. And I certainly don't want music that I can hear at my house every weekend. So I feel like there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and that this needs a lot more time to be evaluated. So I hope that you take that time to evaluate it. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hi,
Next speaker.
my name is Billy Hubler, and I live on Balboa. And this market is the only thing that gets me off of Balboa Island. It is so sweet. Do you know, it's a little town. Have you been there? It's a little town, little space where all these vendors and people are squished together, and there's no space for anything else. I understand the only vendors that are coming back, if this happens, are three of them. 3 vendors out of, what, 20-something? Okay, why are you bothering with this? Why are you bothering us? I don't understand. I have a question I hope you can answer. Are you from the Central Coast? Because I visit up there, and I've seen the farmer market in Temecula, and they sound exactly like what you're proposing.
Ma'am, they're not elected officials. We are. You can direct your comments towards us.
Aren't they heritage?
No, that is city staff
Oh,
who work
sorry.
very hard on a daily
Well,
basis to
they work
protect your
very
quality
hard.
of life.
You know what? They really didn't have to work that hard, because apparently the vendors don't need you. They don't want you. We don't want you. I don't know. I just heard only 3 are returning, and I know my favorite one said he's not coming back. That's for sure. If this goes through. And you don't have to spend all that money on things that we don't want. It's silly. It sounds like you're making something out of, what will bring in more money or something? I don't know. It's fine. It's fine the way it is.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. Next speaker, please.
Sure. Council residents, my name is Billy too, and I drove all the way up from Rancho Cucamonga, and to be honest, I'm a little sad. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I wouldn't want you coming to my community and making demands and such, but I'm a little sad because I'm here to vouch, to offer a testimony. In Rancho Cucamonga, we don't like carnivals at our farmers markets. We don't we don't like swap meets at our farmers markets. I go to the farmers market weekly. Been doing it for well over a decade, and I buy produce. My wife likes the croissants. And again, I'm not here to tell you what to do. There's obviously a lot of energy, a lot of hurt feelings, people feeling as if the process wasn't proper. But what I do want to say to you, council and residents, is that I've been dealing with these people for, again, pushing 2 decades now. They have 2 markets in my community, and I've seen their markets elsewhere. One thing that they're not about the business of is copy and paste. So the markets in different areas reflect the area. These are good people, they got good hearts. They're a nonprofit because they're doing it because they believe in it. And so I hope as you are considering your situation, your process, and even maybe some of the legitimate beef that you have with it, that you will also make some space in your heart to give people an opportunity to allow you to get to know them. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hey, I'm Don Swanson. I am a resident of Lido Isle, and I make a trek down there once a week, and I've been doing that for about 14 years. And so I don't have a lot to say that I haven't already heard. So I just think that it would be important to really take some time and think about the community and what the community has to say about it. And also the existing merchants. Maybe we need to go and ask the merchants who has been invited and who hasn't. Because I've talked to several that have not been invited. So, and my prediction for the future would be, if you go through with this, that within a year's time, 50% of the merchants will be gone. And with that, probably 50% of the fervent shoppers like myself will not be going there anymore. It would just make me feel sad to go there and not see all my familiar faces anymore. So that's all I have to say. And I'm glad I came because I got a good tip on a chicken sandwich that I can maybe pick up.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Risa Taylor, and I've lived in Newport Beach since 1999, and I've been shopping at the farmers market since 1999. And when I tell people about the wonders of the market, I tell them you can taste the freshness, and you can look people in the face who are growing your food, and when you buy something, it lasts. So you know it was picked yesterday. I like knowing that I'm getting eggs from a lady, Lorena, who has named her hens. I love that when I went there with my life partner, who sadly has dementia, and I spent time waiting to say this to get home to him. But he had gotten out of a hospitalization. He was happy to be walking again. And he went too fast, and there was a downward slope, and he stumbled, and he grabbed onto one of the canopies. And I don't know if Adam is still here, but Adam, who has the best fruit and the best nuts and is the kindest man, he ran over, and he lifted Bob up, and he brought him a chair. And his people came and brought him water, and his guys walked us back to the car. And that's what it means to buy fruit and vegetables and flowers from people who care about their customers. It's a very unique thing. It can't be replicated. And now that I'm older, I like that it's 2 blocks. I like that it's easy to shop. I don't want to go to a bigger market where it's harder to park and I have to walk further. I've seen chefs shopping at the market because the quality of the produce is so good. If I buy something at Mother's or Whole Foods because I've run out and not bought enough at the market, it's not going to last as long because it wasn't picked the day before. It's been held in cold storage. This is a unique market, and it doesn't need to change. Could it be modernized? Could a better job be done with marketing and social media? Perhaps. Perhaps. But the unique character of the market is something special, and the vendors are something special. And losing that will be a real loss to the community and to me personally, and I probably won't shop there anymore. I will probably drive and go somewhere else where I have to park with more difficulty and walk further. That's my feeling about it. It's a very special place and it shouldn't be lost. Thank you for your time.
Next speaker.
Hi, thank you. My name is Bridget Patty, and I've lived in CDM for over 30 years, and I've been going to the farmers market almost as long. I wanted to say thank you to everyone here for listening to the community and the residents, because they're the integral part of the farmers market along with the vendors. I don't know which way things are going decision-wise, but I do know that a lot of people in the community, like myself, depend on it for healthy food. It's daily connection. It's the weekend meeting your neighbors, your friends. And I know quite a few community vendors and other people in the local shops, cafes, and restaurants that look forward to it because it brings people in after they do their shopping to go grab lunch, get coffee, or to pick up some, new whatever they're looking for. So it's a welcome spot in the week for everybody that I know. And to keep it as an integral part of the community would be beneficial for everyone. It brings revenue to the city of CDM. The locals are happy with it, and the residents don't seem to have any major complaints with it. If you expand it on its size and make it much larger, that would just bring more traffic and chaos to our beloved little community. And so I hope that you consider the residents when making your decision and maybe do an outreach to speak with them on what their wants and needs are for the community, because most of the people who do attend the farmers market are local people. Very seldom do you get faraway people. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Teresa White. I am owner and operator of Mama T's Baking. I make French macarons from scratch. For my home, I'm a cottage food bee baker. My home has been inspected. I have been a vendor with Heritage Wellness Collection now for 2 years. I'm at 3 of their farmers markets. When you love what you do, you produce a great product. My product is great because I love it. I have a passion. Their markets are great because they have a market. They love it. They have a passion for it. From top to bottom, their employees, their staff, it is so well run. And this community that I'm hearing about is exactly what I witness at every Wednesday market that I'm at with them. The people that I see are the same ones every time. If the one who wanted to get her celery somewhere else, I get my lemons from here and I get my berries from here. They are a certified farmers market, and the produce is fantastic. I get my baking goods there. If I'm going to do a collaboration with a vendor, the balsamic vinegars or the berries, they are top-notch at what they do. They are fair and family-oriented, and I'm at 3 of their markets, and they are all different. They are not cut and paste. They are community events, and there has been nothing about them as a group and individuals that is not top-notch. They love what they do. They care for their vendors. And I can't speak to what's going to change or not change, but they would welcome everybody with open arms. They absolutely love it. And I have never seen one face painter at any of the markets. There's maybe music at a night market, but not during the day markets. So it's not a carnival atmosphere. This is a certified farmers market.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Jessica, and I'm a vendor at the farmers market in Chino Hills, and I have been with the Heritage Wellness for a little over 4 years now, and honestly, for as long as I've been doing my business, which is over 6 years, I have to say they're one of the best markets I've ever worked with, especially for the community, because I live in Chino Hills, and that's why I wanted to be part of their market. They provide some of the best organic produce, milk, eggs. Everything's different, it's very unique, but at the same time, the atmosphere there is amazing. They listen to the community. You'll see them walking around, wanting to talk to the customers, see how they're enjoying, and see what changes can be done as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Silvia Valdez, and I live in Costa Mesa. I've been following this heritage for like long time also. You know, they have the same products also, like all the farmers market. They are certified also. And like I said, you know, I used to go to the one in Corona del Mar. I didn't like it, believe me. I always follow them wherever they are, because I know their products. And like I said, you know, the produce people, they use the same seeds like the other ones, and believe me, no. Me and my friends, we don't really fall in love with the vendors. We fall in love with the products, the products that they have, and I don't have complaints about them. Yeah, I follow them to Chino Hills, Rancho Cucamonga. I'm pretty sure that sometimes they are in universities also, and I know a lot of people, we love them, and a lot of people that we live in this area, we follow them. You know, there is no complaints about them. No, they are, for me, they are the perfect one. Like I said, they have the same products like every farmer's market has. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, Mayor Stapleton and council members. Thank you for holding this hearing. My name is Barbara Keller. I'm a longtime resident of the Flower Streets, and I have agree with all the former comments. In addition, I'd like to ask, none of you live in the Flower Streets. Would you want this expanded footprint and expanded time frame market in your neighborhood? I doubt it. I'm looking at the map that was provided by the staff. 2/3 of the vendors are hot food and cold prepared food, not certified farmers market. That doesn't help our local businesses. That's not the purpose of a farmers market. Music? You've got to be kidding me. Every single Saturday, our neighborhood is going to be blasted with music. It's like the mini Christmas walk every Saturday. Would you want that in your neighborhood? I doubt it. Here's a point that hasn't been made. With this expanded market, the realtors are going to have to divulge to all prospective buyers that this is going on every Saturday in the neighborhood. Likely that will decrease our property values. And finally, I'm very concerned with the fact that an RFP went out in August of 2024, which means you all were discussing it well before that. And yet no one showed up at the Corona del Mar Residents Association until March of this year. I first heard about this, as many of us have, on Nextdoor, maybe late February. Why? Why weren't the residents of Corona del Mar consulted? You're elected to represent us, not dictate to us. Thank you.
The next speaker.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Rachel Gabriel, longtime resident of Newport Beach. This Corona del Mar Farmers Market has been a weekly shopping ritual for me, my family, friends and neighbors for more than 22 years. And only this last Saturday did I and several others learn about the changeover that's about to take place.
and with shock and sadness at the city's decision to eliminate the entire base of the reputable growers and vendors that we have long-standing relationships with, and to replace them with what sounds like a Disneyland fairground-like venue. And this is not consistent with the desires of most of the people of this community. Equally disturbing is that the decision to make this major change was done so without transparency and essential public input, and it feels deceitful. We're not in favor of the proposed intentions, especially not the elimination of our highly valued growers and vendors who have created our niche farmers market. Rest assured that this will be a great loss to our and your community if it happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Thank you. Mayor, council members, Denise Oberman. I'm a longstanding resident of Newport. I do not live in Corona Del Mar, but I live in the ocean front, but Corona Del Mar is part of my community and our community. You can see that by the other testimonials. So we talk about consequences. This market, the farmers market that has been there, is an integral part of the residential community, and it has a character that is compatible with and essential to the community. Not just the people that live on the flower streets, people that live in our greater Newport residential community. We love and cherish it. I'm very concerned that there is a delicate balance in this residential community and other residential communities between residential and commercial uses. And by injecting something that looks and feels like a new use, it has a different set of impacts to the close residential community that we have here. I do not know why there is this compulsion to turn what are fundamentally residentially based areas into venues, but I'm just going to say caution, grasshopper, because we can kill the goose that laid the golden egg with the city of Newport Beach. And I would also encourage the council to take a step back, to gather in a thoughtful way public input. If there is a desire for the market to perform in a way that the city would consider to serve its interests, that we can get alignment between the city and our representatives and the people in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Joanne Jameson Hunt, and I was brought here when I was 3 months old to my grandmother's house, and that was on Fernleaf. And I've seen the city grow. I've also lived in La Jolla, and I've lived in Carmel, and I've seen the towns of Leucadia and Encinitas, all these towns. I lived in Carmel when my husband was in the Naval Academy postgraduate school, and in Carmel they had the post office. Everyone had to go to the post office, so everyone would come together. It was very unique, and I think lately it's been taken away. Corona Del Mar is a very unique place. It's not like Newport Beach. It's not like Newport Coast. It's very unique. Your parents had their studio here. Your mother was wonderful. This is a different place, a different energy. And these people in the market, what they offer is each unique, and you can go, it's fresh, to take it away would be to strip this unique area of something that is the heartbeat of it. And I know heritage must be good, but this is here. That's what I have to say. Don't let it change.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I want to sort of add to what Joanne said. I sort of go to enjoy the relationships of all the people. The families will come with the children in the strollers and the friendly dogs, and everyone's just having a good time. And I enjoy seeing that. We have diversity already. We have this unique, this man who makes his own soap that comes down from Santa Monica. So we have things other than just the regular fruits and vegetables. But it's just a wonderful place, and I've been shopping there for 20 years, and I don't want it to change. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. I'm Sharon Wood. I've lived in Corona Del Mar for 25 years, and during all that time, I've been a regular at the farmers market. Like many of the speakers before me, I like it the way it is. I'd also add that from my weekly observations, it appears to me that most of the people are kind of like myself. We want to get in and buy our produce and our eggs and things and get out and go on to the next errand. I do see families with young children, but they don't appear to be lingering, and I'm just not sure that there's a demand for more activities other than the shopping. I can offer a little different perspective from some of the other speakers, though. When the farmers market was first established, I was the assistant city manager, like Simone's job now, and my staff and I worked with Rick Heil on getting it established. We had a very good experience with him. Every piece of information we asked for, he provided. He responded to current concerns from the residential neighbors and from other businesses in Corona Del Mar. And as a customer now, it's been my observation that he has continued to be responsive to issues that come up. I don't know what Heritage's reputation is, but from my perspective, I think that Rick has been good for the community and for the city. I did have one comment on the site plan that Heritage presented. There's vendor parking shown near Bayside Park, and it's hard to tell from this diagram if they intend to go on the landscape area or it's on Bayside Drive. If it's on the street, that's going to remove quite a few parking places for customers, and parking has always been one of the concerns of the neighborhood. So if they are, in fact, selected, I think that's something that needs to be addressed specifically. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Carla Lidner Baum, and I live in Riverside and here in Corona Del Mar. My comments are, I love the farmers market on Saturday mornings here, but my comments are much more process-oriented, and I wrote them down so that I could hopefully get them all in 3 minutes. My biggest question is why the RFP now, after all of these years? And if there wasn't an RFP before, you undertook something that's actually legally binding and is a process that most cities, counties, and states only initiate if there's a real need to increase revenues, to provide services at lower costs. There's usually a real reason for an RFP to be released. So I'm curious, did this city feel like it needed to make more money? Did we need to save money? What was the reason? Did we need more foot traffic at this farmer's market? What did we need from this? Was the city going to make more money or save money? And if it wasn't money, if money was not the issue, what was? And who gets to determine what we want at our farmers market? If it doesn't save the city money, and if it doesn't cost the city more money, why is anyone else determining that? I want to say I'm a dentist, and I've directed more of the largest dental grants in the United States than anyone I know. I've had more money given to me from various RFPs. I've responded to more RFPs than I could even count. I've directed millions and millions of dollars for poor kids' dental care in Arizona and here in Southern California. The RFPs were designed who could provide the best services for the least amount of money.
Okay.
And I've never seen an RFP being released where at the end of the process they said, oh, never mind, the highest bidder isn't going to get the award. I don't think this is retractable.
Okay.
And I'm really worried
Thank you.
that this is already a done deal.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, I'm Missy Held. I grew up in Northeast Indiana in a farmer's town, and I love going to Corona Del Mar's farmer's market because it reminds me a little bit of home. It's the only place I can get a tomato that tastes decent outside of Indiana, from my perspective. But it is here in Corona Del Mar, and I do also really appreciate the community and the tradition that the farmer's market has. I love getting my produce there. I love running into friends or moms from my daughter's elementary school I haven't seen in 10 years, and we can chat for a while, maybe without music, so that we can have those conversations. But what I do worry about are some of the possible changes that could take place, and that has to do not only with parking, but with the driving situation. For me to get from Farmers Market back to where I live, which is kind of Harborview Hills, I take Bayside to kind of get back and go up through like Goldenrod. And it's almost like demolition derby on that road, with people trying to get through and people who've parked on the side of the road and where they're going. In the summers, it's hard to take a right turn onto Marguerite off PCH because of the beach traffic getting down to the beach. And I worry a bit about changes made to the format of the market, where it might attract more of those beachgoers and people from out of town attending the farmers market. Not that that wouldn't be a welcome economic boost to it, but it would definitely change the dynamic of it. And my big concern really has been addressed here before by the former mayor and even the person that spoke before me, just about the transparency in the process of the RFP. So just asking for possibly reconsideration if that's at all possible. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Intensia Gerard. I am a local community member. I'm the owner of the B2G Consulting Pros. And I just wanted to address a couple things. I hear over and over a lot of the constituents saying that they just heard about the market. I think a big problem with this contract process is the disconnect. I understand that the city, the council, the mayor is trying to do everything to bring great things to the city. I just don't think that the information is put out there very well, even for the bidders in the process, because a lot of the bidders have very similar proposals because of what was requested. And it's completely different than what the constituents want. They love the market that's here, but on the bid proposal packet, there was information requesting like what you would do to add value and bring in like more, different types of food, different types of vendors, and also bring in the local community. So I think that's one of the disconnects. I hear a lot of heartwarming stories about how, everyone at the market has become sort of a family. And absolutely, I think if any of the 8 bidders had the market for 28 years, that would be the case. I mean, you've had 28 years to develop these relationships and, curate something. However, as great as the mayor you are, Joe Stapleton, you won't stay the mayor for 28 years. Nobody gets to stay in position that long. And so it's fair to everyone to be able to bid. It's a public thing. I know a lot of people say, well, I didn't hear about it, but it's available for the entire city to look up at any time. Any contract that's available, whether we're getting the bathrooms redone on Balboa or, we're adding sand to the beach, that's information that's always available to everyone. So people may not be looking for the information, but it's out there. I would also advise the city to possibly in the future to do some set-aside contracts, maybe some set-aside contracts for veterans or local members. I have one more thing. Can I say it really quick?
Quick, yeah.
Okay. Also, I know people are saying a lot about money, like the city is doing this for profit. No matter who wins the market, it's going to be the same price that's paid to the city for the space. Also, my company specializes in consulting, so in the future.
All right. Nice plug. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. I'm City Council. My name is Rick Heil. I currently run the Corona Del Mar Certified Farmers Market. As you know, it started in May of '96. The objective given to me at that time, Sharon Wood, she mentioned that, was to make this a certified farmers market that met a need of the community of Corona Del Mar and Newport Beach. Over that period of time, 29 years, our vendors have grown with the community. There's a synergistic relationship between vendors, myself, and the community. And that is, you cannot just eliminate that. It's too important. I want to end with a couple clarities about what's been said tonight. Mayor Stapleton, you received an email from a gentleman named Fresco Pasta. And that email was generated after he received an email stating that Heritage was the new management company. And this was over a month ago. I then was notified about that. Francesco sent you that email because he used to work in their markets. And he spelled out how bad they are and how they truly treat the vendors. I'm telling you right now, my guys, they're not going to put up with that, even if they are invited. And as of tonight, one has been contacted by the Heritage Group. And I should know because it's my gig, it's my deal, okay? Those are facts, all right? So as you decide what you're going to do, you need to understand those true facts and clarity, okay? All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your time. Next speaker.
Good afternoon or good evening, panel and city council members. My name is Bing Turner. I'm the executive director of Heritage Wellness Collective, which is the organization that won the RFP. And I have a presentation that I would like to present still if time is available to me. But I wanted to also make a couple of corrections on information that has been shared that has been just flatly untrue. Number one, Heritage reached out to the current vendors at the farmers market because we realized it was a timing issue. And from all the information that was shared with us, we were told that it would be prudent for us to reach out to the vendors. We were able to reach out to 15 vendors in the farmers market. Out of the 15 vendors, 14 have responded very positively that they want to join the market if Heritage was to take over the market. We have the emails. I have respected the process. I haven't shared the emails with press. I haven't shared the emails with anyone that works with the city because I just think, quite frankly, it's inappropriate. In respect to Heritage Farmers Market and Heritage Wellness Collective, being a nonprofit organization, it's against the law in the state of California for anyone other than a nonprofit organization to operate a certified farmers market. Also, another point of clarification, Heritage has been doing this for 15 years. We have never operated a non-certified farmers market. We've had certified farmers markets in Los Angeles, San Bernardino County, Riverside County. We've had one in Orange County, and they all have been certified farmers markets. And finally, on the last email with Fresco Pasta, if you read the email that Fresco Pasta, that was actually very public, he said that we have penalized vendors for being late, for being tardy, or no calls or no shows. And how do you receive the fines? For being late, for no calls, and being no shows. That's my time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bing. All right, any other public comments on this item? Okay, seeing none, I would like to address City Attorney, if you want to make a comment about maybe an allegation that was made during public comments.
Thank you, Mayor Stapleton, members of the City Council. I think the CDD will also have some responses just to some of the questions that were raised or the comments that were raised. But with respect to the allegation on the connections or contact during the procurement process, and specifically that section 17 of the RFP, that really is intended and directed at the RFP proposer so that they aren't circumventing the RFP process. I don't think that it's directed towards council members. I know that there are relationships with existing vendors. At least 2 of them live here in the city, so it's not unusual to have contact with members of the community that are also vendors. So I think that it's my understanding that the council was not involved in any phase of the procurement process. And so I don't think that any allegation that was there is concerning to me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Staff, would you like to make any comments after the public comments?
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor. With regards to why we did an RFP, because an RFP hasn't been done for the last 20 years. We have council policy that establishes a procurement process. Mr. Heil's license agreement was terminating, was expiring, and we follow the process. So that's why we went out to market. We're not recommending to take anything away. We're not taking a farmer's market away. We went through a process. We're making recommendations for a new operator. We want a successful farmer's market. With regard to parking concerns, the operators will park their vans on site. There is going to be some juggling of parking, and we're sensitive about where the vendors are going to park. We understand, we've heard from the community about parking impacts, so that's a piece that we need to go back and focus some attention on with regards to parking if the council moves this item forward. With regard to music, the music was only on an occasional basis. It wasn't supposed to be a carnival venue. That wasn't the RFP. It was a music component on occasion. Most of the farmers markets actually don't have a music component. And if the council wants to take that out, we can happily go ahead and make a motion and remove the music piece out. And that concludes my comments at this time.
Okay. Anything else? Bing, how long would your presentation be if you brought one?
5 minutes.
Do you guys want to hear? No? Okay.
Oh, okay. Let me check.
Well, they were the top, but okay. There's not a consensus. Well, we'll leave it alone. Okay. Okay. Councilman Blum.
Let's go. All right. It's been such an exciting meeting thus far. This is how they all go, by the way. All right. Well, very rarely do I find myself able to speak about something with this much knowledge on it. But food and farmers markets, I've actually spent a pretty good portion of my life at them. And I can honestly tell you I've never known who's operated them ever. I've known what was there in the same way I've heard so many people get up and speak passionately about their friends and the vendors and the people that show up. That's wonderful. I think that's part of the idea of what community markets are. The idea also that profit on public land shouldn't go through a process to figure out who handles that is also something that's really important. And on my latter job, sitting up here with you, that's what we focus on. We focus on policy to make sure that someone doesn't get the benefit of all of our public funds for profit without going through a process. I understand that the current operator, there's been signs and there's been campaigns and all of these pieces. I get it. They don't want to lose something that they have. None of us do once we have it. But we run through the process because it's in what is in the best interest of the entire community. I get it. Sometimes we want more outreach. We want different operators. We want a lot of things. I get it. But for me, what I think most of you want are the best eggs. You want really great produce. And you want possibly a market that you guys still feel the same way about. Okay? So then the question is this, what's our role and what's our job? We have to go through a policy. So if we kept the same operator, we would just have to waive the same policy. Okay, so then anybody applying for anything to make profit off of public land, do we not waive all those policies? That's not really the way we work. There's some interesting pieces that I don't think the people that have spoken necessarily understand. We're aware that problems exist. So we have a 30-day clause for termination in this, with or without cause. If this doesn't work, if you guys come up and say, hey, this was the worst decision you ever made, we will listen, and we will adjust and go through it again. We write these contracts this way. To abolish the idea of an RFP because we like what is currently there and we don't want anything else, I remember when we built the clock tower, because my tile is still there, so are my kids. I do remember all of Corona Del Mar through every iteration of it. I remember when the Christmas walk was not a raging party that walked up and down PCH, but actually a thing that you went into businesses and got like some hot cocoa and a popsicle or something, rather, because I handed them out. So I've seen our adjustments and our change. It doesn't mean I always like them, doesn't mean I always want them, but some of them have been for the better. So the most important thing for us as a council is to make sure we can backstop negative change. We can help push forward with positive change. At this point, I spent some time at the market. Yeah, it's great. Am I buying my produce for the restaurant there? No. I drive up every Tuesday to the Santa Monica Farmers Market to find things that are truly impossible to find in other places. That's a trek to get something like produce that I want in my restaurants. The question is, what do you guys want and what can we do? And we're kind of at that point right now. What we want is for something that the community loves and appreciates. I've read all of the emails on both sides. I've read the refresh ones. I've read the other ones where we just want it to all stay the same. I think if we could all look back and say we want the world to stay the same, we'd all probably say we do. Let's all go back to the 90s because it was sweet. I remember. I loved it. We were still skateboarding and doing really cool stuff all around. But the world's changed and we're making the adjustments we can. And I think it's important for all of us to remember we all live here. We all want it to be better and great. We don't want to ruin the city. We don't want to make things into carnivals. Nobody on this entire dais wants to ever see a food truck anywhere. So I'm here to give new things a try because sometimes it's amazing what happens when we take a chance on something new. And I hear the scoffing in the audience, mainly from the current operator. But maybe then run the process to put something else in. So that's where I'm going to stand on this. I'm happy to support the new operator. If it doesn't work out, I'm happy to go through a process again. Thank you.
Councilmember Grant.
Thank you. First, I want to acknowledge how well-intentioned this effort is overall. First of all, with the staff, I know that we have a very professional and accomplished staff, and I have not seen anything but well-intentioned effort here. I also want to thank everyone attending tonight and anybody who sent emails. As with Councilmember Blum, I read all the emails that came through, tried to answer some of them in the beginning. At some point, it becomes a rabbit hole. There's just too many. So all of you should know that we do all get all the emails and we do read them. So thank you all for your participation. And I also want to thank the 8 bidders that we had on this project because I think it's really important to acknowledge that they were willing to participate in this process with us and want to come to our city. And that is also very well intentioned. We have had robust community dialogue on this, and we've had a lot of opinions expressed in favor of the current market, as well as how the market could be improved. There has been a dialogue on each side. What's important is that this is an opportunity for us to engage with the community. This is specifically the kind of opportunity where I do find engagement to be important. We're not buying a fire truck. We're not investing in bonds. This is a farmer's market. This is the food that we buy regularly, that we feed our children, we feed our families. And it's a place where probably community engagement is very beneficial. It just really is. It's something that's very integral to our everyday lives. There has been considerable frustration with the process. That's very evident here, especially with the lack of outreach on our city council's part. I mean, I take that as a personal mission that we should have had a better outreach from the very beginning. It would have avoided a lot of what we're looking at today. And this is something that we can respond to. So, we have a large contingent of residents that are well-informed and have opinions to share. We've seen that tonight. We've seen that in the emails. Possibly the result would have been exactly the same. Very possibly we would be exactly in the same spot we are now. But I don't think this is a problem with our existing vendor. I don't think it's a problem with the vendor that was rated most highly or scored most highly in the process. I don't think it's a problem necessarily with anything other than an opportunity for us to do a reset here. So I would support a renewed effort in taking into account the community driven priorities and do a restart on this. If you would, no applause necessary, as our mayor would say. It's kind of a pun, but I'll say it. It's a healthy exercise for us to do a refresh on this. Thank you.
Councilmember Weber.
Agree with a lot of what Noah and Robin said. I do want to take a moment to say thank you to staff for all the work that's gone into this process, and everyone who spoke tonight and everyone who sent emails to share all their thoughts. For those of you that don't know, I was born and raised in Corona Del Mar. I spent a decade of my time in the flower streets, and I love a farmer's market. I absolutely love bringing my kids to a farmer's market. I just, however, have stopped going to the Corona Del Mar farmer's market. I think as a city, we have a fiduciary duty to ensure that public spaces and programs are operating effectively and serving the greatest good. I'm fully supportive of refresh and reinvigorating the CDM Farmers Market. I truly believe this is a positive step toward enhancing the experience for the entire community. It is extremely important that we continue evolving our community spaces to make sure that every resident feels connected to something local and vibrant. And I just once again want to say thank you for all of the effort that was put into it, from staff, from residents, and I really am happy to see that we're continuing to make this market something special. So thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Kleiman.
Thank you, Mayor. So first, I want to say I love how much our residents care about our community. We are, as Councilmember Grant said, very fortunate to have so many people so very engaged in the public process. When my son started elementary school, his principal told all of us parents, "We'll make you a deal. We'll believe half of what your kids tell us about you if you agree to only believe half of what they say about us." And boy, has there been a lot of misinformation campaigns over the last several weeks, which I think is both unfortunate and counterproductive. I do, of course, also understand that in the absence of communication, emotions often prevail. So I think perhaps maybe we can all agree that if we had a time machine, we would all go back and do things differently. Could we have done more to engage the community at the outset of this process? Absolutely. That said, staff has spent more than 8 months going through the same fair and objective RFP process they use for every RFP we do in the city, which produced a clear top scoring bidder who has a master's degree in public health, a demonstrated passion for supporting locally grown produce, has put a tremendous amount of thought into a proposal for our community market, has already offered and received commitments from many of the current vendors to remain at the market, and has a plan for collecting and responding to regular feedback from residents on how to shape and improve the market. I think it's also worth noting that after the release of the staff report and clarifications to some of the rumors to the public, we received many emails in favor of making improvements to the market, as there were opposed, if not more. We would really like to see all of our neighbors attend this market, including families. I have heard from the public that there's a desire to stick to food items, which I think the new operator can accommodate with a focus on produce, hot and prepared foods, coffees, rather than soft goods, and they can refine the vendor mix based on feedback from market goers. And I would personally like to see us give them a chance and welcome them into the community to do so. So if there are no other comments, I would go ahead and make a motion to support staff recommendation on this item.
I think Councilmember Weigand has a comment.
Yeah, I was thinking about this on number 714 on the license here. Entertainment shall include or be limited to live music or vocal acts. I'd like to just scratch that part. I don't mind face painters, balloon artists, jugglers, seasonal characters, similar acts, but I think it would be prudent to at least get the start on this without any live amplified music. And so scratching out and adjusting 714, I think, would be a good start for this. Simone, this is a revocable license, right? Like, so at any point in time, the council or anyone can pull this and say you're out.
That's correct. It requires a 30-day notice, but it is revocable.
So, you know, there's a significant protection here for the city. So, you know, if this turns into something we don't want it to be, this council can revoke that in 30 days.
Correct.
So, I mean, I think there's significant protection for the city here. Look, I got to be honest, I've never been to the CDM market. I don't think this is a high priority issue for the council. I understand that things have gotten out of proportion here, and I get that there's residents here that are passionate about the issue. I get it. But it, to me, seems like the process was fair.
Folks, I'm sorry, but the public comment period is closed. The public comment period is closed, and the council is deliberating.
The process to me was fair. So if for some reason this operator doesn't act like they should or hold to the standards that the community has, then we can get rid of it. And it's.
You have a motion, right?
And I don't see an issue. I'm happy to support it, but I do want to remove the live music from the license. And there's a section, I think, on page 2, you know, entertainment typical, such as live music, local performers, school bands. You know, I think it's important just to scratch that out.
I'm okay with that amendment, Councilmember Weigand.
But otherwise, the parking, Simone, it does bother me a little bit. You know, I don't know if there's something we can adjust up here on modifying anything related to the parking, or if that's simply trusting staff to, you know, figure that out. Like, how does it work today as far as the market cars of the vendors are right on site, and then they sell their goods right out of the cars, or, you know, right out of the tents, but obviously the cars are parked right on this parking space. Is that kind of how it is today?
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Weigand. Yes, all of the vendors do park their vehicles on site with their tents right outside of that. The idea is to remove the vehicles from the lot so that it's a better pedestrian experience, give some of the vendors a little bit more space. The produce vendors would have their vehicles staged at the driveway entrances to provide some pedestrian safety to the market, and then the other vendors would be required to park off-site in public lots or public streets. And we could direct the vendor to, you know, have their vendors park further away to provide that on-site or that nearby parking.
So there will be more vendors, though, at this than there currently is today, right?
Potentially, yes.
Based on the schematic that was provided, that would show more than it currently is today. So do we have any other alternative options for parking? You know, the Bandera lot, restaurant's not open till 5. So is there an ability to reach out to them to see if some cars could go there, or?
Councilmember Wiggum, we could definitely reach out to Bandera, and I'm very sensitive on the parking side of this issue. So ultimately, we may have to have the vendors park on site as they do now. But we need to spend a little bit more time on this parking issue. We don't have 100% guarantee and 100% on the answers right now, but that's something that we're going to work through.
Do you think that's problematic, though, that we don't have answers right now? I mean, I want to satisfy that community correctly. So if there's going to be, you know, a significant increase in parking, issues related to having no cars that are in the market, we're going to have some potential trouble there.
So
I'm just trying to, these are the two sticking points
Right.
that I have in this process, or at least in this license here.
So if I'll resolve that. If we can't find an alternative parking lot, then we will have them park on site. So our goal is to find public parking or a parking area, get them off the street, and have them park in a designated parking lot. So if I can't figure that out, that piece, then we'll just have them park on site.
Yeah, I don't like to make changes from up here when we, are deciding these things. So it is a little problematic that we don't truly have an answer on parking. That needs to be, and I'm trying to see how we can work through this right now instead of, putting a delay on this. And I think I'm happy moving forward, but I think that parking is a concern. If we're doubling the vendors and we're also having them not park at the current location.
Yeah. Again, I think this is the best answers we have right now, Councilmember Wiggin. We're trying to figure out how many vendors, the before and the after, to kind of determine what would be the significant, if there is going to be a parking impact. We know we're going to have those producers park on site, and then some of the other vendors we have to either park on site or find another location, and that's the best I have right now.
Saturday 10 to 1 in a summer period of time, beach parking starts to get, but it's a distance to walk to Corona Del Mar, State Beach. What's the parking lot situation? Do we know over at Sherman Gardens, the one next to them, is that underparked at that hour for vendors to have to buy a parking pass to park there?
Yeah, it is a private lot.
It's a city lot, the one next to it.
Oh, I see. I understand what you're saying.
Is that something we can require the vendors to have to buy a city parking pass, so they have to park their vehicles there?
That's the council's prerogative, correct?
We've got a motion.
Yeah, so Councilmember Wagon, I'm happy to take your amendment, and I think that we can entrust staff to figure out the parking as they do with, a million other things that happen in the city.
Would you
adjust
support though the parking pass requirement in the vendor?
I support the music removal amendment. I think we, again, leave staff to figure it out rather than put something in the resolution.
And I'll second the motion with the music amendment.
Okay.
And let's go for a vote.
All right, we got a first and a second. We'll call for a vote.
Please raise your hands. All those in favor? That is 6-1. The motion passes.
Okay.
Stephanie is a no? I'm a no.
Yeah, I'm sorry. 6-1. And Wagon, no.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, read the announcement for motion for reconsideration.
A motion to reconsider the vote on any action taken by the City Council at either this meeting or the previous meeting may be made only by one of the council members who voted with the prevailing side.
All right, are there any motions for reconsideration? Okay, seeing none, before we recess to closed session, I'm going to adjourn the meeting, not only in honor of Police Officer Bob Henry, who heard from the police chief earlier, but also in the memory of Peggy Fort. Peggy Fort.
Mr. Mayor, can you gavel, please?
Guys. Shh, please. If you want to go outside and chat, you can. We're not done here. We're adjourning the meeting in somebody who we lost in the city. So if you would keep it quiet, thank you. Okay, Peggy Fort, Susan Margaret Fort, better known for her nickname Peggy, was a beautiful, giving soul, an optimistic and sunny disposition. She lived a life to the fullest with no regrets. Her faith, her family, and friends were the most important things in her life, and she loved them to infinity and beyond. She's a native of Chicago, and at 18, she came out here to attend Orange Coast College. She never looked back, becoming a California girl, reading in her beloved Newport Beach for most of her life, residing in her beloved Newport Beach for most of her life. She was a natural athlete, having completed 23 marathons for charity as an adult, including one Boston Marathon qualifying run. She loved snowboarding, surfing, scuba diving, and hiking. She was an entrepreneur at heart. Peggy started her successful marketing agency, California Marketing Concepts, CMC Inc., which she ran for 22 years, located in Corona Del Mar. A big part of her business philosophy was to give back to the community by organizing, participating in, and financially supporting charity events. Peggy felt like this was one of her biggest accomplishments. It made her so happy to be able to help others. Peggy's long-standing commitment to her community was recognized by the state of California when the state assembly named Peggy the 2021 Woman of Distinction for the city of Newport Beach. Peggy lives forever in our hearts of all those she touched. In lieu of flowers, donations can be made to Peggy's name towards the ALS Therapy Development Institute. We'll now go to closed session. Ms. Summerhill, do you have a closed session announcement?
Thank you, Mayor Stapleton. The council will adjourn to closed session on a number of items, the first of which is to meet with the city's real property negotiators regarding negotiations with, one, John Saunders on behalf of 3848 Campus Drive regarding the property at 3848 Campus Drive in Newport Beach. The second is Cavis Gedabin on behalf of 4200 Building LLC regarding the property at 4200 Campus Drive in Newport. And the third real property is with negotiations with Angela Brand on behalf of Davenport Quail Partners LLC regarding the property at 1400 Quail Street. Additionally, the council will meet with the city's labor negotiators regarding negotiations with all unions as well as the council appointees to conduct the performance review of the city council appointees and to meet with legal counsel regarding the case entitled Barbara Salvini versus City of Newport Beach. All are set forth on the agenda under items 14A through E. Mayor Stapleton will recuse himself on the real property negotiations for 4200 Campus Drive based on campaign contributions that were received. The council appointees will recuse on labor negotiations related to themselves, and the city manager will recuse on the litigation matter, all based upon the financial impact. Thank you.
Okay, we stand recessed. Thank you. We good? Okay. We're back in session. Ms. Summerhill, is there a closed session report?
Thank you, Mayor Stapleton. We did adjourn into closed session. All members were present, and there is no reportable action at this point.
Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you.